Well, for all the viewers, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the video afterwards, thank you so much for tuning in to our very first live stream on Discami. We've never done this before. It's the first one we're trying to do. My name is Mark. I'm Mark McKinnon. I'm the designer of BESM Fourth Edition and the TriStat system. And whenever we decided to get into doing a little bit of live streaming on Twitch, and we'll have the video saved and posted out elsewhere on our YouTube page, I wanted to invite some people to play with me. And I decided to call in what I call the BESM superfans. These are people within the BESM community, whether it's Facebook or Discord or Kickstarters, that are some of our biggest supporters that have been tremendously helpful in getting BESM off the ground since we started. And so there are 4 people here ready to play. 2 of them have live videos, 2 of them are static images, but we're all here on audio. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the game. We'll quickly do some introductions on what's happening, set the stage, and then we will go from there. It's going to be about a 3-hour adventure. If everything goes well, it might end a little bit early, might go a little bit late, but looking forward to giving this a shot. I know people have been requesting some BESM live streams for a while, and we're finally at the point that, yeah, let's get this done. So joining with us today, we have Mad Meg, and that's on the screen. We have Lois, our other character, who's our infiltrator. Mad Meg is our soldier. We have Tsun, who's our gearhead, and we have Tada, who is a psionicist. So the adventure is called Beyond the Boardroom, and that's because the Boardroom is a spaceship. This is set in the prime world of Cathedral. Have the spaceship up there so you can kind of see what that is. The spaceship, the Boardroom, is a bit of a privateer, freight hauling, usually legal. Sometimes it might be a little on the illegal side, but the crew has always been above board, even if they have to skirt around some of the laws for a little bit. So we want to make sure our players are on the good side of everything. But something befell the Boardroom a few short weeks ago, and that is the captain, Captain Lauren, unfortunately died. He was outside the ship, and there was an unfortunate debris accident that took him off and impaled him. But this ship does operate as a co-op, and always has. It's kind of a privateer, kind of belonging to some guilds and having some connections with other shipping organizations. But ultimately, the ship runs as a co-op, so the fact that the captain died, there's all your friends, is an incredibly unfortunate situation, but it didn't cripple the ship because you can still fly, you can still operate and bring your cargo elsewhere. So before we jump in any further, what I'm going to do is just allow each people to go through and talk a little bit about their character, what they look like, kind of what their role is, and how they see themselves. If you want to talk about any of the things you can do, that's certainly fine. But we'll just be brief with each one, and I'll just turn it over first to Mad Mag.
All right. Mag's got a very high body, so he's huge. Mag's a teddy bear, very fatherly, level-headed, except when it comes to weapons, here he really geeks out. Like, it could be just a simple scouting mission, and during equipment check, he shows up with, like, every piece of armament he can carry, after which the crew pretty much has to peel everything off of him until all he's left with is a rifle and his trusted Mateba Model 6 sidearm. To borrow a quote from Oscar, it's like disarming Germany.
All right, excellent. And next, I'll pass it off, and let's hear from Lois.
Hi, everybody. This is Seebeck from various places on the internet. My character is Lois. Lois is an infiltrator. I'm using the adventure picture from the BESM core book because it's just an awesome piece of art. But Lois is, looking at the stat block that Mark was gracious enough to give, is I kind of picture him like the infiltrator class from Mass Effect 2. Got this really cool skin tight armor suit with the active camouflage and just kind of sneaks around and does his thing and surprises people, and then likes to kick back, relax, and enjoy life when he's not actively performing a mission.
Excellent. All right, let's hear from Soon.
Well, soon, a little distractible at times. Often gets chided for how much attention to other details gets placed on things, but the rugged hair, the nice fitting jacket, and sleek trousers all go together to make him a lovable person and forgivable because things usually work out most of the time. Except, the captain, but oops.
All right, and Tata.
Hello, I am Tara. I am a very mysterious, at least to myself, psychic that is not sure their place in the world. They are biologically a male, but they do not present as anything other than just a sentient flesh bag that is trying to find their place in this wild world universe. They have incredible powers as far as they are aware, and they are going to use them to... not sure what they're going to use them for, but Tata is Tata. A wild card.
All right, excellent. And as I said, the fifth crew member isn't currently available. Just give me one moment. I noticed that something happened here on the sizing of this. Okay. Sorry, tech issues. It happens. All right. I think the dice spot area is now back to where it should be. Not that we're going to be rolling a lot of dice, but I want to make sure we have that capability and everyone can see how the dice spot goes. Okay, we're good to go now. So you are currently on a mission. You are delivering goods from one place to another. After you often do. Cargo movement is very common. Sometimes you'll be called in to maybe do a little bit of mercenary work, a little bit of security work, but your biggest source of jobs is typically in freight movement. Not always people want to go with the bigger companies and the main line. Sometimes if they're moving something that needs to get there a little bit under the radar, they'll call some privateers and people like you. So you are currently working on a run, delivering some goods, which you don't know what it is, but you were assured it's nothing illegal. It's above board. And this is, you were doing a job for what's a company called Amalthea Ambrosials, which typically deals in higher end luxury goods, fine drinks, artwork, some foods, for example, that are a little bit more exotic and maybe illegal in some areas. You are on your way between different planets. So you're in the Cathedral sector. So Cathedral, one of the prime worlds in the BESM multiverse. But of course, none of you know anything about the multiverse. But what you do know is that this is a very, very busy area. Think space opera. You got your Mos Eisley aspect. It's very much a Star Wars mixed with Firefly, mixed with Cowboy Bebop and Outlaw Star. That's kind of the environment you're in. And you're traveling between planets right now with your cargo. It's going to pay modestly well, but you have costs, of course, as you go. So where would everyone be on a typical, during the day, you're transferring, where would everyone be located on the boardroom?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be in the kitchen. I'm probably cooking up a meal for us to fill up before we depart. Not depart, but disembark.
Lois, what about you? Where would you be?
Lois would probably be in the kitchen as well. Like I said earlier, he likes to kick back and unwind when not actively on mission. So probably enjoying a nice cider or other flavored drink that's non-alcoholic, because you don't drink until after the mission is over to celebrate.
All right, Soon?
Soon, pretty much, as always, is tinkering on something. Probably grabbed a snack and is otherwise near the engine that should be monitored, while also working on a circuit board. Might be something for decoding, might be something for overloading, might be both.
All right. At Fare Tara, where would you be located?
Tata would probably be at the bridge of the ship, making sure that everything is all right as far as like the navigation instruments, and probably just gazing out into the void of space, pondering the universe in their mind.
All right. So you are sitting in the larger cockpit area, just kind of hanging out. You could have all set it on autopilot and go, but it's a good enough place as any to hang out. And you see a priority message coming through. It's indicating that it's not signaled who it's from. There's no transponder code for it. It's just waiting. It's a audio and visual, and just bleeping, waiting. What are you gonna do?
Before Tara interacts with this message, they're going to alert the rest of the crew through, I guess, like an intercom system, if there is one.
Yep, there is, and normally for something like this, of course, Captain Lauren would be usually the ones that would take in these calls, but not around. So everyone hears on the overcom system go ahead, Tara.
Everyone, I think we've got a bit of a situation on the bridge. We have a communications, and I wasn't expecting this, and I don't think any of us were. So I'll come to the bridge and let's handle this together, if at all.
Lois, let's go.
Well, I guess I'll have to save the rest of this for later. Puts a cap on it, puts it in the
Bring it with.
refrigerator unit, and heads up to the bridge.
So are you heading up too?
Soon we'll do one last check, push the reset to make sure all the alerts that are otherwise going on the engine wait at least 5-10 minutes before going off again, and join everyone else.
Right. All right. So you all kind of head up there and just leaving this blinking, waiting. It's not uncommon that people would wait. Not everyone is always right in front of an incoming message. They're not waiting, sitting by the phone. But certainly you wouldn't want it to go on too long. But when you all get there fairly quickly, and then the message is going, does someone want to answer it?
I'll go ahead and hit it. I hit the button. This is Mag of the Boardroom. What can I do for you?
All right, and you see on the screen as it comes into play, you see an older gentleman who comes into view. He has mustached, white hair, looking very, very distinguished, very attractive. And while he's clearly older, there's a youthfulness about him as well. This guy is very clearly has access to technology or chemicals that other people don't to keep his young look, but he's kept his hair older. He definitely has that air of experience going on for him. And he pops up and says, "Where is Lauren?"
Not familiar with Lauren. There a reason you think we should know?
So Lauren is the captain.
Oh, forgot about the name. So quickly he died. We gave him a proper burial. We're done. Sorry to inform you, there was an unfortunate accident recently, and Lauren's no longer with us.
You are the crew?
Well, the rest of us, yes.
Yes.
And Lois is kind of in the back, arms crossed, nodding his head.
I checked.
Well, this is unfortunate. I was expecting Lauren to be available. Regardless, I am Theo Donruss. Now, as soon as he says his name, all of you instantly recognize it. Theo Donruss is the CEO of Amalthea Ambrosials. He's the guy, the company that you're carrying cargo for. This is one of the wealthiest businessmen in the sector, and just an incredible source of business for you in the past, as well as a big player in the field. You've never seen him before. He, for some reason, I mean, you're like, well, if he's a CEO of a company, why wouldn't you see him? But none of you have ever seen him before. And it's not as if he looks different now. You don't ever remember having seen his image before. You know who I am?
Who doesn't? We all know who you are. It's a pleasure to meet you. What can I do for you?
There is a task that I need you to complete for me. Very quietly.
Aren't we already on a task?
You are shipping something currently for our cargo, for our company. That will wait. Keep it on board. Do this little side project for us. And your pay will be generous. I don't know if you are familiar with the finances of the Boardroom, but recently we came into acquisition of the mortgage on your ship. There was quite an outstanding amount owed on it, and we can call this in at any time, but you do this task for me, quickly, quietly. And let's just say the Boardroom will be yours, free and clear. Now, you know, because, again, there's no secrets. This isn't something that Lauren is hiding from you. Yeah, every month there is a significant amount of money that you guys are putting out to keep this ship going. It's running job to job. It's your ship, but you don't own it yet. And there's a substantial amount of money. The amount of money he's talking about, if he's going to ignore and waive the mortgage that you have on this thing, you wouldn't be making this in the next 5 years of trips that you guys would typically do. This is an outrageous sum that you've never had ever on any job before.
We've never met him before.
No.
Nobody has, like you.
No, you
stated.
would typically. Even Lauren might not have. You don't know. Typically, Lauren is the face of your shipping place, so he meets a lot of people you don't. He's the one that did all the admin stuff, all the contacts. He'd get the contracts, but at the same time, he doesn't meet the CEOs of every company. He would meet, the shipping arrangements, much junior. Like the level that he's at, it's practically like meeting the president of the United States when you are looking at, getting a contract to clean their bathrooms. Like that's the type of discrepancy this is.
Right. So is there any technology we got that can verify his identity?
I was already kind of thinking that soon it's going to sit down in a chair as it spins, trying to use the computer to verify the source of communication that this is actually on the level.
Sure. So you are going to kind of tap in and make an attempt to verify that the signal is coming from an appropriate place?
Yes.
Sure.
Either way, Tara would like to probably discreetly activate any kind of recording software to, make sure that this is on record, or at least as far as their evidence, if this screws them over.
Sure. Yep. Sounds good. So you can go ahead and kind of press a record button. So soon, you have the tech, kind of like the hand tech that you have locked in with the ship computers. I'll just actually have you do. Oh my gosh, it's our first roll. So why don't you go ahead and make a because what would you like to roll? I mean, if you were to do this, given the skills group that you have, what would you think that this would fall under?
Seems like a technical roll to me.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. So and obviously, everyone here on the stream might know all the rules, but let's just make sure we go over a little bit for people that are watching it. So you are going to be making a mind-based technical skill group roll. So you're going to be rolling your mind stat. You're going to be adding on your skill group, and you're going to be rolling 2 dice. And all this is done through the bot that we have. And with that, we are going to be comparing it to a difficulty number. And we'll make this difficulty 15. So, you're familiar with the rolling bot and how to get that going?
Yep. I had done the test roll based off of if I was to do a technical roll. My minimum is going to be like
Oh, there you go.
enough.
So with your role, obviously you have a very high mind stat, very high tactical skill. You're very, very good at what you do. And yeah, you rolled a 20, so that's completely in line. You easily meet the DC 15. And when you do that, you are definitely verifying that this is kind of like a high priority gold channel, which is the civilian, it's not a military channel, but it is very clearly coming from the planet, which is not Cathedral Planet. It is another planet in the sector. That is a planet that's completely 100% owned by Amalfi Ambrosials. So you can't get the IP address of the particular computer system that he would be projecting from, but what you can definitely verify is this is coming from the planet that the company owns.
Now, the whole time he's doing this, I'm making sure to have friendly chat with this guy to make sure he's not suspecting that we're doing anything. He probably already does. He's a smart businessman. He'll be like, hey, look, you're going to make sure that we're going to get the proper documentation that this delivery is being delayed because we're on official business, right? That kind of stuff.
Sure, yeah, and it's very quick. I mean, the amount of time it took for us to determine the role is significantly longer than it would take you to call up on your system, because you're very good at what you do. And yeah, it was easy enough to verify enough. Now, it's not easy to track down everything, and you would think a company of his size would be able to obfuscate anything that they wanted to. The fact that they didn't might tell you something. And as soon as you kind of do it, and it pings and verifies what it is, Theo says, I presume you've verified I am who I say I am? I don't have time to play games on this. This is an incredibly important job. And your attempt to record the conversation, you'll find that you're going to get nothing but static when this is done. This is something that you can tell no one about. Understood?
Understood. It just shows that you know that we know what we're doing. So.
I apologize for the rudeness, sir, but we need to at least get some kind of we need to get the instructions in detail and to perform them to the letter for you, if we are to perform them at all. So please forgive us for this transgression, if you think it that.
It's understood. I'd be shocked if you didn't try. However, this is something that is outside of the direct line of business of our company. My son, Kai, is missing. We have reason to believe that he is currently on Cathedral, and he would be in Hayad Miban. Now, you all know Hayad Miban is the main central city on Cathedral. That is, think of it as your Mos Eisley, like it is the big city. There's a couple other small outposts, but Hayad Miban is the central place. It's like telling someone, oh yeah, someone's in Los Angeles. That's kind of what he just told you. But anyway, so we have reason to believe that he's working there as a fortune teller. Something that not many people know about Kai is that he has the gift of future sight. And I am concerned that my son is being taken advantage of. I want him returned quickly. Now, know that while I am offering you a substantial sum of money for doing this, this is not an optional contract. Do you understand?
Got it.
Yes.
Understood.
He is to be returned unharmed. If you need to use force, that could be acceptable within a range, but do not bring me back my child broken. I will send you his photo. You will contact me whenever you have him, and you are returning back to my planet. Understood?
Yes.
Got it.
And it ends.
Excellent.
All right. So you
Well,
you
then.
know you're about a week out. Sorry. Yeah, you were going to be a week out from your destination. That you're moving the cargo from one place to another. You're about a day away from the cathedral planet.
Well, y'all, looks like we have a slight detour to make.
Unfortunately, and I don't think we can reject it. And if we would, it would only go badly for everyone involved, I would believe.
Well, this can only go badly because who knows how many laws we're going to have to break on Cathedral to pull this off, because he probably does not want to be taken.
You get a transmission that comes through showing you a photo of Kai. Kind of very thin, looks about 16, 17, 18, difficult to kind of tell. Probably a minor, but not a minor in the sense of someone who can't go on his own, but someone that would not be in many circles considered a full adult.
All right. Soon, we're going to need a flight plan. We're also going to need we're going to need a place to land. So if you can go ahead and get all our plans ahead over in Hayab, so we have a place to get to, preferably somewhere surreptitious, because we don't want the entire public knowing that we're there.
Okay, but if this kid can see the future and knows that we're going to bring him back, shouldn't he just go back on his own?
I'm not sure it works that way. Most fortune
Just
tellers
because-
tend to choose what they want to see.
Just because he can see the future doesn't mean he can see everything that's going to happen.
What is life?
Life is a journey.
I don't know. I guess you can ask him when we get there. Let's go ahead and get moving.
All right, you were along with the photo, a small description text file comes along with it, which physically describes him and also indicates that although Theo only said that he is in Hayat Maban, it specifically narrows it down to a sector within that area. Think of it like telling you he's in, Hell's Kitchen of New York, like a much smaller area. You don't know how he knows that information. It didn't come through. All it just indicated is that he is in the cage sector of Hayat Maban, which all of you kind of know. The cage sector is let's just say a little bit of a seedier part. It's a little bit more flexible with some of the rules, a little bit rougher, but it's not a slums area, but it's certainly not the high-end trading area either.
Okay, I'm going to pull Tada aside.
All right, Tada's going to go aside with whoever needs to talk with them.
To be Mag.
Mag, yes, thank you.
Tada, do you have some mind reading ability?
Not to my knowledge, although I could try.
Okay, because dealing with a psychic, I doubt we're going to deal with anything malicious, but we're probably going to need all the tools we can get. And the less people know about what you can do, the better.
I understand.
Much appreciated. You're going to be key in this.
So
What did you need me to do?
There's a fairly long, roughly, as I said, about a day away. Is there anything in particular that, if you're going there, anything in particular you want to get set up, communicate with anyone, make any preparations?
Well, that's kind of what I was counting on Araziel for. Oh, geez, what was your name? It left me. There it is, leaving my tongue.
Toon will definitely use these systems to arrange reasonable landing in cage. Something that has at least 3.1 rating, given the general area.
Right. So
Now, Lois, you might have the proper connections for this, won't you?
As soon as we touch down, I will be able to start inquiring, yes, but the types of people that I deal with don't usually talk over open communications.
So with your vessel, in terms of, there's lots of different people that visit port cities on different planets in the cathedral system. Specifically, when you're going to one area, you are a well-known cargo ship, and you have contracts. You can pick up stuff, deliver stuff. There are docking fees you have to pay. There's all the regular routes that you can take, within the regular line of business that you do. You could also choose not to go those routes and try to do something a little bit more surreptitious. You've certainly kind of gone under the radar. There may be a place where if you want to land outside the city and traipse in separately, you can do that. There's lots of different ways to approach this, but you are a member of good standing within the shipping guild.
I'm just afraid we won't be after this, accused of kidnapping or whatever the case may be. And this kid might have some major connections too.
Yeah, considering we don't have any actual cargo we're unloading or loading, I don't think that using our shipping connections is the right path to take this time.
Well, it wouldn't be unreasonable. I mean, you don't always go to places where you are currently doing business. Sometimes you're going to find business, and so docking and then to go out to different meetings or bars or looking for posts and that. Sometimes just going for a visit. This is a place where you'd stop between trips, so you're not always living on your ship. So there certainly could be reasons if you chose to go one of those reasons of you're here for within your shipping channels and paying all your fees. If you want to go as a civilian, as a non-working ship, then that. You could also do that. That would be a different route that you'd end up taking. And then there's finally, as I mentioned, you could go and try to sneak in if you wanted to. Much more difficult doing it that way, but you're a big ship.
Well, if we can land as a cargo ship using those credentials, I think that would probably be best. It would get us past a lot of the red tape pretty quick.
Yeah. And then we should have at least some guarantee that the ship isn't going to get absconded with or otherwise broken into.
They do have good
That's true.
security at these places. I mean, you pay your docking fees, and you can get them fueled up, repaired, certainly secured there. So it's something. It's interesting. You're realizing, wow, this is what Lauren did. He took care of all of this stuff, and while you all kind of work together. This is the boring administration type stuff that none of you ever had to deal with.
Well, I guess Lois and soon have this in order.
Yeah, sure, why not? I can do things.
So the general plan is to signal ahead. You're coming in, booking a docking pod, and landing your ship there, paying your service fees, doing all that. Using your channels. Is that kind of the plan? Is being public with your approach, as if it's just a normal visit to Hayat Miban?
Yep. We're
Yeah, I think
already headed beyond, so it's not too weird.
Okay. So let me tell you a
Meanwhile,
little bit
I'll check with you.
Go ahead.
Go on. Never mind.
I was going to say
I was just going to have it.
whenever it's much easier when you're all sitting on the couch. But whenever you are in these types of places, so this is not a no weapons zone. Like, it's not no weapons are allowed in Los Angeles. Like, it's not quite like that. But at the same time, no one's walking around with grenade launchers and giant rifles either. It is expected when you are out in public that if you have any small personal weapons, that would be acceptable, as a method of security. But anything really big or large would have to be registered or or cleared through the local security place. There'd have to be a reason if you're walking around really heavily gunned up. But the average person, certainly, you're in a space opera campaign. It's dangerous, and so carrying around some sort of small personal weapons would not be unreasonable. Not everyone does. I mean, not everyone is looking for a fight or expecting a fight. But if you are going to have weapons, certainly, a pistol, that'd be a blaster pistol. Slug throwers are not appropriate when you're dealing with ships. Typically, you're going to have energy blasters. But if you want to have a knife, that's fine. Even a sword, probably a traditional sword would probably be okay to go by. But you get into some of these vibro blades, monofilaments, all of this energy sword. If anyone carries around with a retractable light sword, this is the type of stuff that would be looked at a little bit strangely. But this isn't where people are going to be walking around in dueling in the streets or anything like that. This is a civilized space opera doc.
Hey, Mark. Could Lois have like a collapsible short sword? Like not an energy sword, but just a regular physical sword that just push of a button, it kind of extends outward and then hits it again and it just
that
collapses
wouldn't be a
into the
problem.
hilt?
So in general, if you were to look at the weapons in BESM, particularly the futuristic weapons, so you've got your blaster pistols, which is kind of like your upper end of normal weaponry that you could carry in a place like this, or that the average person would have. Okay, what just happened? Someone... Okay, we're back. Sorry, it looks like we just ended up losing someone. Unfortunately, it pops back really quickly. So anyway, so you'd be looking at a blaster pistol, kind of like a level 5 weapon. Anything up to level 5 would be fine. So like a sword, a dagger, stuff like that. When you're going above level 5, that would be a little bit extraordinary for something like that. So if you wanted to have, it's basically a switchblade type short sword, not a problem. That would be a standard kind of like level 3 weapon. So no issues with that.
Awesome.
So you
Okay.
make the arrangements, you call up ahead, you book your docking area, and I presume you're going to just fly in as normal?
Yep.
Soon, do you have any bindings that we can use to hold him? Futuristic cuffs, whatever the case may be.
That would be a great idea. What if it had for 8 arms, in case... I know this one doesn't have 8 arms, but for the future, when
Just,
we're taking it...
Some bindings for now will be just fine.
Yeah, you could throw together some restraints. You've certainly worked with some minor prison transport in the end. Certainly bounty hunting is a viable business, and you've brought in a few people, but you can always look at upgrading them a little bit and adding them up to 8 arms if you wanted to. But yeah, you can soon you can certainly take care of ensuring you have that if you need. Although of course this is like a complete under the radar type thing, and that would be looked at rather oddly.
I wouldn't be surprised if he secretly added some sort of like shot collar option.
I'll put it in with my my toolkit in general for all the odds and ends. And if it does get looked at too closely, well, sometimes you need 2 pipes put together, and this works.
All right. So you dock. You come in. It looks like it's fairly busy here. And in this docking area, you have your central areas where all the ships line up. And think of it almost like a pronged network where you're going to have walk areas come out, and there's all these different places where ships can dock, because some of these ships can be very large. You're not in the area where these giant battle cruisers are docking. You're in the smaller area. Your ship is nowhere near this size, but there'll be kind of a central area where you'd dock on them, just like a boats at a marina. You'd have little rowboats or sailing vessels. Several of them would dock there. A little bit more private than some other ones, because they're not out in the open. They're going to be a little bit more secured, so not everyone just walking around the platforms is going to see every ship that's docked around here. But this is a gigantic area that could hold hundreds of ships if you were to go in the entire area of the sector. In addition to this area here, you're also going to have a very, very active cargo transfer area, and so that's typically down further below. When you get off on the walkway and would start walking, you could look down and you would see it would go down, stories and stories of space that cargo vessels move up and down, transferring cargo to and from different vessels. There's storage areas here. There's kind of like think of them like shipping crate containers, although there'd be rooms that could be used that you could rent these areas for storage, either long term, short term. Some of these can be moved into individual pods, and the pods can therefore just be transferred on. So this is a very complex, high-end shipping area. There are places that are much more geared towards freight commerce. This is not a city for that. This is a central place. It is Cathedral, and Cathedral is one of the big hubs, but it is more a place for people than cargo. Obviously, you have to move things in and out when you have a lot of people, but it is not a trading hub. Most of the trading hubs would happen not on planets, of course. It is far easier to have your trading hubs in space, on space stations, free floating on smaller moons. Just, the amount of going down the gravity well, the energy, all of that would take a lot if you're looking at just something purely for commerce. But for something that you're looking at having a civilian population, there's lots of people that live in here, in the city, that have no intentions of ever leaving the city. And this is just where their home is. And so that just kind of gives you a little bit of a setup of when you show up, you dock, you can get out, you can, you go, and there'd be some junior kind of like dock workers there that would be there. They'd find out what you need. Do you need this? Do you need that? Do you want to be fueled, repaired? All this type of stuff. You'd let them know. And then you'd have your fees that you would get charged, and that would just come off your central credit account that you have for the boardroom. Does all that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
And yeah, I mean, there are times when playing things straight and by the book is the best way to get what you want. When other times, sometimes pushing some money into the right people's hands is a better way to get something done. These docking areas are run by dockers unions, and they are generally on board, above board with most things, but there's always going to be some form of grift happening on anything like this. But yours is a very straightforward case in terms of what you're looking at doing, and that's pretty well where you are. And then once you are off the ship, walk down the walkway, you can kind of exit. You'd pop onto a like a moving sidewalk, and you'd come out kind of where the central area of civilization is, kind of outside of the docking area, if that is your intent.
I think this would be mainly a Lois and Tata thing. We handle gear here.
Yeah, Lois definitely will, as soon as the ship docks, and he's going to get off and go looking around and see if he can figure out where exactly this kid is.
Right before I disembark, I'm going to go through our equipment, see if I have a bolo launcher, like a little wrist thing that can fire a little couple of balls on a wire to wrap around his legs or something. Entrapment.
No problem.
I'm going to do something a bit complicated.
Okay.
Yes, Tata would like to, using the dynamic powers attribute, try to use telepathy, or try to force telepathy at a single category, so 4 limiters, and specifically on, I guess, Mag, to try to probe into their mind, but at like a range of I guess 3 meters to bring it down to level 4 rather than level 5. It's a little difficult to explain, but yeah, that's what Tata's trying to do, and mechanically what I'm trying to do.
So what is the ultimate purpose that you're trying to arrange?
To read Mag's mind to test to see if, Tada can actually do it,
Oh, okay. You're just doing a test on something. Okay.
Yes, a test trying to be protecting and, be able to enhance their powers and test,
Right. Okay. So you know that the way your minor psionic ability works, it is heavily geared towards areas of protection, and so doing
Yes.
something like this, you could, in the past, you could kind of strengthens the like almost like a mind shield or resistance for people. You can do something that would help protect them from being mind probed or being falling under the influence of hypnosis or something else like that in a very minor way. But to do something without there being any threat, I guess it comes up. You find you work better when there are threats around. Or the anticipation of an immediate threat. This is something that you've been working on, you've been trying to work past it, but it is just so difficult. For whatever reason, these powers that manifested within you work best when danger is around. And so you think, yeah, I think I've managed to protect his mind a little bit, and he probably doesn't know, but there's no external threat, so you're just not feeling that yeah, I definitely did something useful, because you really don't have a good feeling for it. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, yes, but that was not the entire thing that Taro was trying to do. In any case, Taro is going to assume it's a failure and needs to approach it in a different manner.
Okay. Is there anything you're doing now, or just keeping your options open for later?
Tada's going to keep their options open and probably observe the situation as they disembark, be a bit more perceptive and,
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Kind of keeping an eye out, using your, almost like you're extending your protective aura out to see if there's anything that might be considered threatening in the area. You're not walking around like in a state of paranoia all the time. It would draining if you were to try to always be on the lookout for something happening. But for short-term periods, there's not a problem. This is something you've done in the past, and fits in line with what you can do. Everyone seems, like they're busy workers here on a docking station. You get lots of guys walking around cursing at each other, telling you what they should be doing, yelling about moving this to here and don't do that and don't do this. And you have your juniors and your seniors, and it's all very complex, but something you've all seen many times before. Just something that you kind of usually ignore, but because the captain's gone, you just notice things maybe a little bit more, because you know that someone else isn't taking up that focus from your business that you're doing. But you all you all leave the ship, you go, and you're kind of going into outside of the docking area into kind of the civilization. Is that correct?
Correct.
Soon we'll give the briefing to whoever's going to be doing maintenance while we're elsewhere. In the list of things that would be addressed is every small thing that can be ignored without things going wrong. And Soon's got more important tinkering to do. He knows he can leave that kind of stuff for this kind of thing. What creates all those alerts that people typically wouldn't like going off?
Okay,
check engine light.
Some minor repairs of stuff that you're like, you probably could let this go for a while, but given that you're here anyway, maybe it's good to get something taken care of. But you probably don't want to tie up things too long, because you don't know how long you're going to be here. Like if they said, to replace this particular piece, which you should really do, it might be 3 or 4 days. I'm presuming you're not tying yourself into that.
No, it's just those small things like you really should scrub this panel at least once a week. But, then you're tinkering instead. You get lost in a moment and it's a month later.
Right. Okay. So minor upkeep, but nothing major. Enough so that you're not just like, we're just here docking and we're not doing anything else. So you're not going in that route.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Sorry, I don't know what's here. I keep disconnecting and reconnecting. Is it just me?
Yeah, I think it's just your connection, but if you're coming back quickly enough, so that's not a problem.
All right.
All right. So
We need to hit a visitor center of some sort. Find a directory so we know where we're going.
yeah, I mean you've all been to this place before. It's not as if it's completely foreign, but you also don't know kind of where you're going in the sense of you don't have a destination. You just know the general area, and you know where the Cage district is. The Cage is the it's the district is named after the pleasure dome called the Cage, which is a place where you can kind of get any pleasure you're looking for, whether it's drugs or companionship or something. They have events you can bet on that go on there. Think of it like a really big, intense Las Vegas casino is what kind of they are. Except they're not high end and classy. This is in the a little bit lower end district. They would cater to all levels of taste here. If you are are ultra rich, they would have something for you. But there are places that are have better reputations if you're like a high end roller type of thing. But anyway, so the district is named the Cage because the Cage is where the central hub is, but there's residential areas like apartments and sleeping pods, as well as lots of different businesses, whether it's tattoo parlors or upgrades area for cybernetic implants and whatnot. So lots of different things in this particular area. If that's where you're going, that's where you were told that they believe that that's where Kai is. But it's a big place. If there's another place you want to go,
Do we have comms so we can split up?
yeah, you all have ear comms, and they're a good range. You wouldn't be 100 miles out or anything like that, but certainly within a city sized, you can all be connected. I'm not going to make it overly difficult for that.
Well, Lois is out pounding the pavement, doing the whole detective thing, seeing if he can find any information about the young kid we're looking for.
So information, if you're now, are you going out by yourself, away from the extra group? Is everyone splitting up? Is it kind of like how are everyone's doing what they're doing?
Tara would like to go with Lois because that's what they were thinking of doing as well.
Okay,
Well,
we
this
can
isn't
tag
all
team
work
this.
and no play. I'm going to go ahead and hit the pawn shops.
Okay. And soon?
Soon will try to pick up on some information, but more of playing the fool, going to a nearby, not too far from the hub, just basic food joint and sitting down, eating, occasionally lamenting that he doesn't know what's going to happen. If only he knew.
Right. Okay. So we got pawn shops. We got a couple people, and Lois and Tata. When you're out, is it a particular method you're using to try to make connections, or how is that approaching?
Well, you've mentioned that we've been here before, and so I'm assuming that Lois would have at least some contacts, considering his proclivities.
Yep.
Being an infiltrator slash assassin, that he would know better than I how to find people who don't necessarily want to be found.
Right.
And if the kid is not actively hiding, then it would be that much easier.
Right. Yeah. You could go to a well. There's a couple methods. One is a very public, kind of like a bounty hunters station that you'd go to, almost like the Bounty Hunters Guild. If you were to go to a place, and it would be a place where you can meet up with other people who are also looking for marks to bring in. So there's that route, and then there's also the just meeting a couple people that might hang out at a particular noodle shop, or they maybe work at like a physical enhancement parlor. Kind of not really the main line of business is the communication, but there's ways to get access to those people.
Yeah, the second option sounds better because I don't want to give other bounty hunters the idea that I'm looking for a mark
Right.
and then, swoop in and steal. But I mean, talking to people at noodle shop sounds great. Just mentioning we're looking for a pretty gifted fortune teller, young kind of guy, not being overly specific, but enough to grease the wheels to be pointed in the right direction, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay. And how you're backing up Lois and going along as well. I mean, it certainly Lois would have his own contacts. You may have some as well, depending on how
Right.
you think as you go. But certainly, you're going as primarily a tag along with them, or is it something in particular that you
Yes.
wanted to do?
Tata is going to be tagging along with Lois to, if at all, provide any kind of backup should things go south trying to get this information, Don't
Okay.
go alone too much.
Yeah. Sure. Sounds good. And Mag, you're going to pawn shops. Is there something in particular angle that you're going to be taking, or what you're looking for specifically?
Yes. Yes, I'm looking through pawn shops and military surplus stores, scanning for ideas using my military background, my military skills, on suppressing psychic powers, perhaps a nullifier of some sort, bindings, catchings, just looking for a plan, looking for a tactic on what we can do. And usually, the vast array of things you can find at a pawn shop or military surplus store can spark ideas.
Right, right. Okay, sure. So you're kind of wandering around, just kind of looking for what they may have, and they have the more standard fare. Uh, you know, all sorts of restraint devices, minor weapons, things that could be maybe customized that soon may be able to take something apart and rearrange it in a certain way. But when you're looking at getting into something that will affect powers. I mean, powers are not unheard of, but they're not that common, especially when you're getting into some things that are really esoteric, like mind control and mind reading. These things are kind of frowned a little bit on in polite society, so to speak. I mean, some innate races are telepathic, obviously, and so it's not rude for telepath to talk telepathically to people, but this is a more straightforward kind of environment when you go to different pawn shops. If you're looking at something a little bit more off the beaten path, they may be more specialized shops you'd have to go to, rather like something that is almost like a
Curio shop.
yeah. I'm thinking more like if you wanted to get paranormal enhancements, for example, there are places you can go, but they're not main street type places. I guess you'd have to get introduced. These aren't something that the average person can just walk into them. You'd have to have your connections and get brought into these types of places because hey, you can get implants put in and nullifier collars and all this type of stuff. It's out there. It certainly exists, but it's not going to be as public facing as when you're going into pawn shops, for example.
And they won't just feed it to anyone like me, a non-magic user just walking in. Okay, realizing I'm kind of beat at the moment, I'm gonna go ahead and head back to the hub over where Tsun is,
Okay.
and maybe ponder some ideas and have myself a meal.
All right. So Lois and Tara, you are you kind of go to one of those noodle shops just to kind of hang out and you're just gonna be looking. It's like, oh, what's just seeing what's out there and seeing who may be there. Um, Sorry, one moment. Okay. All right. So yeah, so you can go and talk to the people that are in the shop. You know people that kind of when you walk in and you see all the different customers. There's like one person that's sitting in a corner at a table eating his noodles. You know who it is. This is Roy. Roy's a person you've used in the past for contacts. Kind of lives on the street, but he hears things and he makes his money by kind of giving out information to people. Kind of he's heads down, slurping the noodles in a corner. This is where he's almost always found.
All right, before we interact with Roy, Tara would like to once again try dynamic powers to try to apply a mulligan effect to Lois.
Okay, so
Ooh.
just kind of making him a little bit luckier if he needs to some protective assistance.
Yes,
Clever.
yes. If I can, I would like to imbue it, with the 3 assignments, one person, so it's like, up +3, levels
Right.
from
Okay.
just the normal 1. Yeah.
Okay, you're kind of there just giving good auras for him. You don't no need to do a roll like this. This is fairly commonplace for you. Lois,
Sending positive vibes.
yeah. You feel like you should hit the casino right now.
Oh, tempting, but not yet. So Lois is gonna approach Roy, kind of pass by the bar, drop a few coins uh, on the bar right by the proprietor, and just say, I have 2 of the usual, and then walk right over to Roy's table, grab the one of the empty chairs, turn it around, sit in the chair backwards, and just kind of lean forward on the back 2 legs of the chair toward Roy and be like, so, I'm looking for somebody, and you always have the best information. Can you help a guy out?
Maybe. Who's your friend?
Uh, it's my friend's kid, actually. Needs to come home for some family business.
No,
He's
I
a
mean them. And points to Tada. Kind of heads down, but points in that general direction.
Oh, Tata. They're my wingman. We work on the same ship. They just help out doing odd jobs here and there. I
Greetings.
told them that this was the best noodle shop in town, and they wanted to try some.
It's not that good. It's cheap.
Yeah.
Fills the belly.
I mean, is there anything else that you need?
No, this is fine for now.
Cheap,
What are you looking
greasy,
for?
filling. Looking for a young kid, a young boy. Can
For that?
Future?
What purposes?
Like I said, family business. Need to bring him home.
There's lots of young kids, you know, in the cage.
Well, that's why I said it's a young kid who can tell the future. Probably plying the trade at maybe a mid-scale casino or something, helping people try to win that jackpot. But I know it doesn't work that way. You know it doesn't work that way, but they don't know.
You might
And then
be
at
asking
about
some
that point, the
dangerous
proprietor comes
questions.
by with the 2 noodle bowls, gives one to Lois, and the other one gets put in front of Roy.
Asking dangerous questions. Fortune tellers.
Dangerous question. Just trying to get a kid home to his pop.
There's some big money in this.
Depends on your definition of big. It's decent enough, I guess.
Look at my clothes.
Pulls out a handful of coins and just kind of piles it up in front of him. Probably not too terribly much for
Hand-
Lois,
hand
but
reaches
enough
over
for Roy.
and kind of slides him back in. You get more slurping as the noodles go into his mouth, and he's like, yeah, fortune teller, someone fairly new. Well, new a few weeks ago. Go to the cage. I heard that someone, a big hotshot, was working there, kind of doing some miracle type stuff. Maybe your guy.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for the tip.
Careful, Beck. Remember, Han shot first.
Yes. Just gonna sit back, all 4 legs on the floor, grab the noodle bowl, turn around, scooch the chair to the next table, sit down, and start eating. And kind of salute Tata with the bowl. Should have some. It's greasy and mostly food.
So Tata,
Tada's going to respond
when you're
swiftly.
standing there and Lois is saying, yeah, go ahead and eat, you have picked up that there's someone a couple of tables over, when he sees the money being put on the table and kind of pulled back, seem to almost, you're picking up some vibes from them, that they seem very interested in this source of income. And you can see them kind of watching. It's a darker area, but they're watching out of the corner of their eye, and they're keeping an eye on Lois. Or maybe they're keeping an eye on Roy. You're not really sure which one.
Tada's going to graciously accept the noodles and try to keep a low profile as far as this person watching them. Not let them, know that they are onto this kind of attention that they've gotten.
Right. Okay. And you two sleep your noodles away soon. So you also are going to a noodle shop, but you're going to a different place. And you are mainly just going and thinking there, right? Like you're just kind of thinking of the different angles, and you order up some. You think it's vegetable-based noodles, but you're not really sure what they're made of. It's not always clear in some of these smaller joints. And just as you're just about to dig in, Mag walks in.
Hey, yeah, I didn't order you food yet. I don't
Sure you,
know the
sure
future.
you did. I slide his bowl over and I sniff it. I'm just kidding. Here you go. I'm gonna go get me something.
Oh, yeah. I saw that coming, but I didn't.
It's fine. I'm not that rude. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab me an order.
All right, you get an order, and you guys plop yourself down there. And while you're there eating, you suddenly, this little shadow kind of falls on the table, and you get there's a little. Well, you think it's a guy. It could be a girl, young, so you're not really sure, but kind of dirty, and kind of looks at you and slides a piece of paper over onto your table. Kind of gives a little bit of a smile, and then moves over to the next table and slides a piece of paper over there. And you can tell that they are putting flyers out on the tables, trying to sneak around and do this so that they're not being caught by the proprietor of the little shop. Doesn't take.
You look at it soon. Last time I grabbed a random paper handed to me, I was cursed.
Continuing the very overt future sight references with everything Soon says in here, it's going to say, if only I knew what it said before I read it, that would be very useful. And then we'll then look at the flyer.
Okay. So you look and the flyer, it talks about tonight there is a mud wrestling tournament at the Cage. This is the seedier part of an entertainment area where they're looking at doing whatever they can to get people to come in because they want to get them liquored up or other inebriation and fleece money off them. And I guess they hired this little kid to go around and deliver flyers.
See,
Mag.
sir, this is what we come here for.
Yeah, and there might be someone that could give us advice on who to bet on for this wrestling tournament, right?
If only
Somewhere?
we knew a psychic.
If only.
All right, I'm gonna go on.
Suddenly you hear hey, stop that, get out of there. And you see what looks like a like a fried pickle flying across the room and smacks this little kid in the back of the head, who then grabs it in the air before it falls in and shoves it in his mouth and smiles and then runs out, with papers flying everywhere. It's like, stupid kids! Hey, you say you're looking for and this is the kind of the noodle chef. See, you're talking an awful lot about wishing and future and prediction and all this stuff. You want to go, I can hook you up with someone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This guy, he has like 4 heads. And the 4 heads, they commune with the gods of the Zid Templars, and they can tell you exactly what your future's going to be. He's not too expensive either. I can get you a discount. 300 credits, and I can set up a meeting for you.
Has this person been here long?
Oh, yeah, of course. They've been around for months, long time.
I give a heavy belly laugh. This big old burly dude with the beard. Don't worry about it. It's okay. We'll be just fine. I think we can find our own psychic for less than 300 and with a fewer heads.
All right. Had to try.
Meanwhile, I'm going to order a to-go meal and see if I can find this kid.
Okay. Sure. So you order a meal, and soon are you going with Mad?
Yes, and as soon as we're like outside, Soon's gonna say under his breath, "I told you, 4 heads, 8 arms. We need better. We need better equipment."
I got it. I know. And someday.
All right. So you're out there and looking for the kid. Lois, Tada, you are there and you're kind of finishing up your soup. Roy's just kind of ignoring you. You guys are at his table, but after he took your money and gave you some stuff, he's just not interested in chatting much. And in slides, this is Tada, what you notice, that in comes this little kid with some, looks like pickle juice running down his face. And he has some papers, and he's kind of sneaking in a little bit and putting papers on tables in the shop. And he's kind of coming close to your table.
Tada's going to, while he's finishing up his noodle dish thing, he's going to watch the kid as well as just, act unassuming, just not pay much mind. It's an urchin kid doing what urchin kids do.
Okay. When he gets to your table, kind of gives you a little smile and hands you the paper directly rather than putting it on the table.
And Tada's going to take the paper and say, "Thank you."
And then just keeps going around to the other tables. He's always looking at the side of his eye, looking to make sure that he's not being watched by the chef and the proprietor there. And going and delivering them all. And then he's just about to leave and step out when Meg and soon you kind of bump into this kid as he's coming out, and you were just walking by this noodle shop, and Tada and Lois, you can see the way the angles of the door that Meg and Soon are outside. The kid bumps into you and quickly scurries around.
I put my hand on his shoulder and kneel down to his level. "Kid, don't be so quick. I got something for you here. I just want to talk."
And what do you hold up?
The meal.
Oh.
That I bought.
Okay. I take. What you want to know?
We're going to go over to not a dark, seedy corner, just a secluded place where we can talk without the crowd really loud. And just tell them, listen, you get around a lot, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They don't call me World Joe for nothing. World Joe knows stuff.
All right, World Joe. So here, look, enjoy this meal while we talk. I just got a couple of questions for you. We're looking for someone, and I think you are the only one that can help us. And if you do, well, a lot of people will know your name. They'll know who World Joe is.
This sounds too good for Will Joe. Tell me what you want. You looking for women? Boys? What are you looking for?
No, just a psychic. He might look a little more well kept than your standard alley psychic would be, relatively new, and probably goes by the name. Look that up again in my notes here.
Kai.
Kai.
Human?
I believe he was human, right? We're looking at a relatively young guy with the gray hair. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, he would be human.
Well, that sounds. Well, there's at the cage. That's the ones that hire me to put out flyers. They have people there that tell fortune.
Well, I'll tell you what. You take us to this fortune teller directly to, and I'll leave you enough to buy yourself another meal later.
I can't go in the cage. Hey, I just go to the back door. They hire me there.
Okay.
Pay like shit
Get us
for
close.
delivering these flyers, but I gotta eat.
I see. Get us as close as you can.
Okay. Just you? Or
The rest of us.
alright, I wait here. You go get them. Then we go.
He's probably not going to wait there, but, I think we have a good lead. I go to let these guys know.
All right.
Soon we'll try to have a conversation with the kid while waiting about four-headed people, 8-armed cuffs. Do they know anything about the circuit that Soon's working on? Might not realize if the kid actually just skedaddles. Who knows?
No, he is just gobbling up the noodles, waiting for Meg to come back. He's like, this is a meal. It's hot. It's served. Kind of puts the papers aside, kind of tucks them underneath a robotic garbage can, which sits there and flaps mouth in all these different languages, speaks out, put your trash in my mouth, put your trash in my mouth, in all these different languages, trying to clean up the area. He just kind of tucks them underneath them and gobbles around the noodles. And by the time Maggie get back, far too quickly, the noodles are completely gone. He puts the trash in the little metal mouth and says, okay, we go.
All right. During the walk, I'm going to be asking him about the personalities of the wrestlers. Tell me more about this mud wrestling. Who's the guy to root for, and who are the good guys in the story, who are the bad guys, all that other stuff. The typical WWE stuff.
I don't follow any of that stuff. How old do you think I am? I'm just a kid.
Oh, it's that kind of mud wrestling. Oh, hey, it's that kind of mud wrestling. Got it, kid.
Is anyone doing anything particular as you are going to be walking out? And
Yes, Tara is going to be making sure that no one, specifically that one guy that was taking an interest in them, is not following or nothing suspicious is going on around them.
Yeah, I'm going to have you make a roll, actually.
I was going to ask, did Lois notice this by chance? Because he's very perceptive with the +6 height and awareness bonus.
Yeah, no, that's true. This is something a little bit differently. This is no, you don't notice anything, but
okay.
So Tada, what I'm going to have you do is you are going to make just a naked soul stat roll. Just soul.
All right.
And tell me what you get.
All right. So using the dice spot, is this correct? 15, I believe.
So 15, which is, yeah, the dice roll plus your soul is 15. All right. You are detecting, kind of coming from behind, that there is danger. It's something that's just setting off your sensors a little bit. There's nothing particular that you can kind of determine specifically what it is. But given that you were in tune with this person who was kind of watching, you wouldn't be surprised if that was it. You don't. There's nothing physical. You don't hear any footsteps because there's so many people around. But you were just detecting that there's some danger behind you, lurking.
All right, Tada's going to try to lean into his various cohorts, just like casually, and let them know, that I don't like the feeling that's coming from behind us.
Lois's ears will perk up at that, and just kind of look over. Really, what's happening? I didn't notice a thing, which is making him very paranoid because he notices everything.
Let's just say my protective instincts are going a bit. They're picking up, or at least perceiving, something that's hostile to us, or at least could be.
With my heightened awareness, what do I notice? Do I pick up on any of this?
Nothing around here. Just there's lots of people. You guys are walking around. There's nothing that you're picking up. You've heard Tada like talk about stuff in the before, and you're like all of you know that they're on a different wavelength on some things and can pick up stuff that other people can't. But it's not always super reliable.
Lois would like to kind of peel off from the pack, kind of like stop and admire some shops or something, and wait a few seconds, and then activate his camouflage and see if he can track what Tada is feeling.
Okay. And are the rest of you just kind of continuing on your way?
Yeah, and I'm going to be
Yes.
the big obvious noise that I usually am. The big body, the belly laugh, draw the attention.
Sure. Okay. So yes, you keep going, and Lois, you kind of peel off a little bit, kind of duck into a quick alleyway, turn on your camo, and then you just wait and watch. And within a reasonable period of time, you do actually see someone that you recognize from that noodle shop seems to be heading in your direction. You wouldn't have picked up on them because they're not it's like a tail that was too far away, so you weren't really.
Okay.
This is something that you think, yeah, probably Tada's using their sonic abilities again, and picking up on something that they can do. If you could just had her ability, their abilities, it would be super awesome for your job. But you don't. You're just glad they're on your team.
Lois has the mulligan still on them, right?
As far as you know, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tail the tail to find out what they're trying to do.
Okay. Sure. So you're just following along, and they are getting a little bit closer to where the other group is, and you hear some mumblings, and out comes another person out of an alleyway and joins them, a bigger guy, and you think, you've seen this stuff before. This looks like a pretty simple kind of desperate people looking for a payday. And they might think that they have some easy marks.
I think I'd like to drop my camouflage and try to intimidate them and scare them off.
Okay,
maybe
appearing in front of them, or kind of sneaking it behind them?
Yeah, just kind of get in front of them, and then just as I'm just kind of appear out of the crowd, 4 strides ahead,
Right.
and just kind of look straight at them, be as menacing as possible,
Right.
with my sword out but not extended,
Right, okay.
to kind of be like, you don't want to mess with us, go away, we're out of your league.
All right, you kind of boom, step out, and you do that, and yeah, they stop, and the one guy's like, "That's the guy who's flashing the cash." They're like, "Hey,
If you want to see something else flash, and then he hits a button and the blade extends from the hilt.
whoa, bud, we're just looking to see if you had a little bit of extra coin. We're a little bit low on our luck right now. It's no violence, no violence." You can see he's holding up his hands, and under his jacket there's like knives and knuckle dusters and all this kind of inside his jacket.
I think you might want to search for your payday elsewhere. But let me give you a tip, and kind of flicks a low denomination coin at him. With their hands out, just kind of bounces off their chest and hits the ground. When you're looking for a payday, try somebody else, and just kind of retracts the sword, turns on the cloak, disappears, and regroups with the others.
Holy shit. That guy's must be a special ops. We chose the wrong person. Okay, let's get out of here. And they just quickly turn around and leave. Yeah, that was pretty intimidating. And do you go and catch up with the crew?
Yep.
Okay. So you are.
Does Tara sense? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yes. Has Tara sensed the danger pass, or is there something else lurking out there?
It suddenly ended like it's almost like it just flipped the switch and turned off. And then very shortly, Lois walks up and joins you.
I trust you took care of things, Lois.
There's no bodies, it's fine. And then I'll give him a brief rundown of what actually transpired.
And the kid up front stops. He's like, "Okay, there. Can't bring any further. Not my time. They see me. I didn't deliver the flyers. I get in a lot of trouble." So there.
All right, here you go,
that's
kid.
the door. So this isn't. What are you gonna flip them?
I'm just going to give him enough money to buy another meal.
Oh, okay. Like, thanks, man. You good peeps.
We're just flashing all the cash, ain't we?
Get him out of here. Stay good.
So what he had brought you to, it looks like kind of like the back entrance way of a very large complex. You've kind of getting very close to what would be the entertainment area of the cage district, and you, based on the size of this, you think this is probably the cage, which is said that like the big pleasure dome.
Okay. Would there be an advantage to going in through the back? I mean, we don't really need to, but it's good to know that we have a surreptitious way of getting in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's open like in the public and the front door type thing. The back stuff, why would he brought you here? Probably because this is just where they, whoever it is, probably is charged with delivering flyers, and instead he subcontracts to some street urchin and gets them to do it instead, and this is where he meets them. So this would be more like an employee type place. So not as convenient to try to get in this area. Not to say you couldn't, but the front entrance, if you're just looking at entering the building, it's a far easier way to go in the front.
Well, I'd say more seasoned merchants probably have the prime spots for their storefronts. So being a new guy, we'd probably going to want to look at the more hidden places, the alleys where there's less customer traffic. That's probably where we're going to end up finding who we're looking for.
So rather than focusing on the big complex itself, just kind of staying outside and looking around there.
That's just my thoughts. What does everybody else think?
Tara doesn't know what to think. They're still a bit reeling from the unpredictability of the situation.
Okay. Well, we have time. I mean, it's not like we're in a huge hurry. Why don't we go ahead and check out the mud wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, that's how we're going to run into people, right? That's what we'll tell ourselves.
So that instead you're looking at kind of all of you going into like the front entrance to the cage?
That's what it's looking like so far. We have a backup plan. If we don't find them in the main spots, then he's likely going to be in the seedier areas because he won't have enough time. He's not as seasoned to have a prime storefront.
Right. Okay. So you kind of go to the front area, and it's when I use a lot of terms like polished and shiny and really really nice, it's within the context of what the area is. So it is a very nice building, but it is not in the highest end area of the city. And so, certainly for this district, it's very, very nice, very ornate. They have people working the door. Not everyone's human. Most people are humanoid, but there's some frog-like people, some other people who are sort of the bouncers, who are more rhino-like people, who are around there. And these are all different races that you'd recognize. This is a kind of a cultural mosaic of different species that come from all across the cathedral district, and different species have kind of their reputations. You get your big rhino people are typically hired as enforcements and that type of stuff. But this is still very much a human-dominated society in here. That there are other races which are very big in this area, but they more or less keep to themselves. It's the humans that are the parasites that come in and kind of take over everything and run everything. Very, very common. So you go in, as I said, it's very, very nice. But when you go in there, this is a multi-floor building, and you are seeing signs written in many different common languages. You have your common galactic that's spoken by most people, certainly the human tongue, but there's also some of the more obscure language that are written as well, and they're pointing directions of where bathrooms are, bars. There's a sign about the mud wrestling event that's happening on the lower floor, and there's all these directions on different places you can get stuff. This is gambling, this is drinking, this is drugs, and that's kind of what this is. Like I said, it's a bit of a pleasure dome, and if you wanted to have your senses overwhelmed, this is the place to be.
Is there an information desk?
Yeah, there's a central kind of place you can go for some info. They have a very thin, tall gentleman working there. You think, oh, welcome to the cage. What can I help you find? What are your pleasure senses looking for?
I wish to learn of the unknown. The future.
The future? Well, you've come to the right place. If you're looking for the future, we have numerous people who can wave their hands, count the cards, count the bones, can predict what the future will hold. Well, that's on floor 3.
Thank you.
Well, we've heard the best one. It's kind of new.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and hit floor 3. I don't think he's gonna give us any more information than that.
I mean, we've got a picture, so we know what the kid looks like. We can pretty easily find him.
Yeah.
Music is boom, boom, boom blaring. A lot of think like cyberpunk, grunge mixed with techno. Throughout the place, there's different areas you can go to, but going up to the 3rd floor, it's the higher you go, it seems the softer the music gets. It seems like some of the bassier stuff is on the main floor, and as you go up, I wouldn't say it's elegant music, but it's certainly a little less loud as you go higher up, and you go up to this one area which it's the 3rd floor, and there's it looks like a bit of a dance club type situation here. Still, popping, but it's maybe a little bit higher end than some of the lower level stuff here. You wouldn't expect a lot of people who would be looking for the average entertainment would go up to this area. And so you have off to as you're coming up the stairs, off to the right, you have an area that's more the dance club, the bar area, and off to the left, this looks like it's a place where they're selling almost like goods and trinkets and charms and whatnot. And that's where there's people that are filling the kind of the stereotypical roles there of the psychics and people that, you've seen this stuff before. They're just here to make, excuse me, here to make a little bit of money. And again, they're here to give people what they're looking for.
Would it be possible to take a brief 5-minute break to, do the things?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You can pop off. That's not a problem. Why don't we just take a quick break? I would say if you can, everyone can mute, but let's leave your cameras on. I guess it's just the two of you.
All right, sounds good.
Never mind. I thought that was going to be more of a what's it called? Widespread thing.
Just got to refresh my drink. I'll be back. All right. Thanks for your patience there. So, you were up there and everything was kind of laid out for you. What are you going to be doing up here now?
Okay. What do you think, guys? Just a walkthrough, storefront to storefront?
I think that would be acceptable, yes.
Okay. We probably should not approach him directly once we find him. We're going to need to come up with a plan, get the layout of what a storefront looks like, who he has with him, possibly some bodyguards, stuff like that, and then perhaps form a plan.
I agree. I say we should act the touristy part, at least for those observing.
Soon, Lois, what is your thoughts on how to approach this?
We'll try to keep eyes peeled. Not get distracted by the pretty lights. Wonder how they work.
Yeah, I think the best option is to kind of walk around, find the kid, and just... I mean, as long as we're all together, we can be like, hey, Daddy's calling you home, you're coming with us. And hope that he's smart enough to not decide to run or put up a fuss or anything.
Okay. So you just look kind of walking around the area, as was mentioned, more touristy, just kind of looking and seeing what's there.
Mhm.
Okay. So if you kind of walk in the air, you get, there's people sitting out with little like table type areas where you can go in and meet them. One was like, "Oh, let me read your feet. I can tell you what's happening. Tell you your secret numbers. Just from your feet alone." And there's some people that are there sitting down, getting their feet read. Other people are. It looks like they're choosing straws, and the straws have different colors on them that are meaning things. So you've seen this type of stuff before. Almost none of these people are what they say they are. These it's just an entertainment zone designed to take their money from people. You have other people who are. It looks like they're imbibing some sort of smoke, and they are. It's almost like they're having hallucinations of some sort because they seem to be talking to the air while someone is writing down notes as if they're reading the people's reactions from these inebriants. But yeah, this is especially you, Ted. I mean, knowing a little bit about how the mind works, although you're still. Some of the things are still a little unclear to you, that almost all of this type of stuff is just not real. It's just not true. This is something that people play the role in these touristy types areas. And while certainly the lower levels you think might be more for kind of yes, some dock workers coming in, the people from the shipping cargoes coming in looking for some entertainment, for a little bit of companionship. People who would be here at the upper levels would be the higher end touristy type things, and the
Right.
fool and their money will be parted, and that's what kind of they're here for. And
Will I be able to? Oh, sorry.
no, I was going to
I
say,
would like
and
to definitely.
as you're walking around, there's no one that you've seen that kind of matches any description. Almost everyone here is older. Certainly, there's no young guys here. They're older, and a fair number of non-humans, which again plays up with the stereotypes of, humans want to find out that these aliens know stuff, and rather than other humans.
All right. Tara would definitely like to try to, once again, dynamic powers and try to sixth sense it. Try to, see if he can make some kind of detection on someone who might, like, magic, the supernatural, whatever this would be considered.
Right, and because of your nature of protection, how are you kind of pushing it through that? What is your mind frame on how are this applying to protection?
Well, for example, protecting their own interest. If they don't get this mission accomplished, this kid will probably not be able to go home. Their ship will, not be able to be paid for. Their very livelihoods will be at stake.
Okay. Yeah, so you are kind of reaching out, looking at it like, I'm looking at a bit of self-protection here. We really got to find this kid. And you're trying to get a feeling as if anything here is real in that sense. And there are a few things that you're actually picking up from some of the patrons. Like there's a guy who has a bit of a frog head, and you're picking up something from him, but he's just a person getting his webbed feet read. There's nothing about the person reading the feet, and so you don't know much about what that would particularly be from him, but he's just another person here. Everyone working the space, you're not getting any vibes that there's any authenticity from any of this place here.
All right. Tata is going to withdraw for now and go back to the rest of the group, or if he's at all separated from them.
Right. Okay. As the rest of you are walking
tell
around,
them.
is there anything in particular that you're looking for? I mean, you haven't seen anyone that looks like Kai.
Well, I do have a concern, and that's his dad was afraid he might be being taken advantage of at the moment, which means maybe he doesn't own a storefront. Perhaps he's somebody's personal slave. That could be higher up. Or perhaps he does have a storefront, and that's down in the seedier areas. What are your thoughts?
Hmm.
Maybe we can ask if they have a special reserve.
What do the upper floors have? Is there a directory?
This is the highest floor that's kind of like open to the public, that's identified. You know there's stuff above this, but it could be offices, it could be private gambling areas, but there's no, looking around, there's no stairs that are going up.
Okay. Well, we're going to end up having to search other areas, I'm thinking. Well, it could be altogether possible. This might be metagaming a little bit. Those flyers for the mud wrestling could be a reason. Maybe an event's going to happen there, but I don't want to metagame. So I'm going to leave this to our infiltrator and our psychic and just sit back. That could just be the inner me wanting to watch mud wrestling.
I mean, that works, right?
So, Lois,
yeah,
I
Lois
want you
is
to
down
make a
for-
Lois, make a soul roll.
Just straight up soul?
Yeah, just straight soul. Yeah. Actually, no. Add your detective on there, and we're looking for a So your detective skill group roll with your soul, and you're looking for a DC 15.
Boom! 18.
18. All right. You can see there's, so as I mentioned, in the one area they're kind of walking around in, and on the other side when you came up the stairs was more of a dance clubby type area. And you do notice that one of the bartenders there is looking at your group and is kind of chuckling to herself a little bit.
Chuckling to herself,
Yeah.
huh?
I mean, she's serving drinks to people, but she looks over and kind of shaking her head a little bit and giving herself a little bit of a laugh.
I'm gonna approach said chucklehead.
Okay.
Oh god, I have to
I think
actually...
we have the tourist vibe is what it is.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So she's attractive. She bartenders. The best way to get tips is to look attractive in a place like this. And as you walk up, she says, let me guess. Your group is looking for something, and you don't know what you're looking for, but you're just a bunch of sailors looking for some action, right? You're on the completely wrong floor.
Actually, we know exactly what we're looking for, and it's not action. We're looking for somebody. We're here looking to reunite a lost child with their parents. I say child, but more of an older teenager. Probably plying his trade of telling the future.
Suddenly she looks like very serious and kind of pales a little bit. Said, "Who sent you here?"
I just told you.
She kind of motions a little bit and goes to the side of the bar, and says, "Sally, take over for me for a moment." And kind of goes a little bit to the side. Says, "You are asking some really dangerous questions."
We're dangerous people asking questions.
Yeah. You're looking for Kai, aren't you?
Exactly so. And what is Kai's last name?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well,
No,
it's Kai Donruss. But, I mean, the Donruss family is
Yeah.
they might not know the name
So
here,
when she
but it's
says-
a big name.
When she says you're looking for Kai, don't you all say Kai Donorus with the last name just to make so she knows that I'm not just saying, oh yeah, we think we are,
Right.
kind of deal.
I don't know her last name. But look, he's mixed up with the wrong people. And I have not seen him around here for a bit. Like if they even see me that I was telling you anything, this is not good. You need to get out of here, get back on your little ship, and fly away. Because you do not want to get mixed up with whatever stuff Kai's involved with. And who's he's involved with? Way out of your league.
regardless of if that's so or not, we are very well. We have some really good reasons for looking to reunite Kai with his folks,
What? He's
and
like
we
a
can't
runaway kid?
just. No, it's more like the prodigal son's time to return home has come.
Uh, yeah,
He
well,
was supposed to be home, and he's not, so parents are worried.
oh, he was
Apparently,
the
rightfully so.
legit thing. He was the legit thing. But when he got scooped up, you don't want to get involved with Aquilo. Aquilo, she took a liking to him because of what he could do, and within a couple days he was pulled out of here. She just took him right out of the establishment. I have not seen him for days. He was a good kid. I liked him. He was fun. He tipped well. But when he hooked up with her, she was way too controlling. And what she has going on, you do not want to get involved with.
And where can I find her?
You don't want to find her. The Aquila gang, they run half of the area.
Well, I just got to make sure I'm in the right half when I'm asking for him.
You're playing something dangerous. You make it worth my while.
I'm assuming I still have some loose change left.
Yeah.
I'll tip well.
So, and she looks and's like, "Really? It's the best you can do? I'm laying my ass on the line here."
From the sounds of it, you're about to lay your ass on the line for a lot less.
Really? No. Okay, hey, it's your funeral. If you want to go mess with the Aquila gang, yeah, you want to go closer to the blue sector. That's where her power base is. But he's her pet now. You're not getting him back.
I've heard that before. Huh. And then I just kind of disappear and walk off.
Crazy kids. And she takes the money, puts it away, and heads back to the bar area.
Oh, sorry.
I will reunite with the rest of the crew and explain to them what just transpired.
Okay, this has suddenly gotten a lot bigger than we anticipated.
Did it, though? Did it really? Daddy wouldn't have given us our ship free and clear if it wasn't going to be difficult.
Well, I anticipated difficult, but running half this place, it's a little more. We're gonna need a little more than, and I hold up my blaster pistol, than this. I think we need to reconvene at the boardroom.
That would be wise.
I agree.
Still be something to ferret out. Are there any computer terminals anywhere in this building
Oh yeah.
that we've seen? Soon is going to try to act like it would be a normal thing for Soon to approach the computer and try to connect to it, and from it to whatever network might be used to find information.
Okay.
Specifically, we'll be looking for Aquilo, the blue sector, and we'll be trying to mask the specific location, try to make it look like there's 5 or 6 different spots that are making this query.
Okay. Now, is this kind of like the idea of walking up to in a computer place and typing in Google searches, or is this something you're doing a little bit more custom?
A little more custom, taking one of these little fine gadgets, connecting it so that I have more access than the standard keyboard input might allow.
Okay.
And I can run programs.
Okay, sure. So make a mind-based tactical skill group roll, and you're looking for let's go with an 18 DC.
Alrighty.
Oh my gosh, 24. Nice roll.
Hey, you made these characters, Mark.
Yeah. Well, this is
You have no one to blame but yourself.
That's true. This is very specialized. Yeah, you kind of go to one of the private terminals that they have. Public terminals, but in a little bit of a private area where you can sit down, like as if you're having a drink there. You just quickly, pop off one of the ends of the terminal, kind of insert your special cards into it. Start looking stuff up, and yeah, you very quickly find out. Although it's not like almost like the Washington Post, like very public stuff, but the dark web type information about Ierna Aquilo. So Ierna Aquilo is, as was mentioned, is kind of like the mob, one of the big underworld bosses in this area. She's a heavily modded human, and she's well known as one of the people that owns kind of like half of this area of the city. Not literally owns it, but effectively owns it. And she runs everything. Her gang runs everything from drugs to mods to people. Yeah, that's pretty well it. The blue sector, you know where that is. It's kind of well known that's kind of her main area. But she has so many people on the take, security isn't coming in here. There's a couple reports from Coldwater Security, which is the kind of the private security force that secures this area of the city, and almost everything is quickly buried that they bring any reports on it. So it's like, she pays the right people so she can run the right places. And from what you've seen, again, this is because she rolled so incredibly well. You think that she owns a significant portion of the cage as well. That she has like investments here. You think?
And any bead on where valuable pets might be held?
When you get into that level of detail, there's not kind of like public people generally who are well known. They would have the underworld hideouts and kind of their strength, their strongholds. But the specifics of it, you would not know. But you kind of, if you're going into the blue sector, there's this one kind of alley which is well known by the information you're finding out, that if you're trying to actually go and meet with her, this is where you would go, and you're pretty sure someone would meet you there. Whether or not you want that, that's up to you.
Indeed. Well, soon we'll execute the wipe drive protocol. Should wipe the immediate activity very shortly, but then start wiping the entire system, and the couple ones next to it that would otherwise be masking the location, trying to leave as little trace as possible, get up, stretch, look like I forgot my drink,
Sure.
and rejoin and share the information with the group.
All right.
Soon, if I ever die, you're clearing my browser history for me.
So what's the goal of the group here?
Okay, are we back at the boardroom?
No, it's just like you were just finishing up in the cage still. Is the goal is to head back to the ship?
That's what it is for me.
Yeah, I think so. We need to regroup. We might need bigger guns.
Okay. So you you go and you leave the cage, and as you're leaving the cage, you kind of run into standing outside, looking right at you, is a very, very large guy. Tattooed forehead, dressed in a suit, and while he is very, very big, there's a couple of other big guys next to him. Says, you might want to come with us. We have someone that wants to see you.
I guess everyone here talks like Guado. So, but okay.
Well, what do you know?
Who wants to see us?
And like he moves as if to say, like, we're going this way. There doesn't seem to be too much of a question in his attitude.
I say we follow. They're probably taking us to where we wanted to go anyway.
Yeah, subtlety isn't my thing, so I'm big and obvious. There's no way I'm sneaking out of this. Okay.
All right, and as
Fair enough.
you're kind of walking down the street, and you can pick up the one guy behind. Like he's leading the front, this big guy, and then there's a couple of large enforcers behind. And you hear from one of the other enforcers. He's like, "Yeah, Elise, thanks for the tip. We got them." And then walking along, and yeah, it's very clear that you guys are being led to the blue sector and this particular alleyway that is an area that where you guys know about. I mean, soon you've seen the images, the graphics on this, so you know exactly where you're going.
I'll turn to one of the other guards and say, I bet you this piece of copper wire, it's not the tooth fairy, is it?
Well, I guess we'll wait and see. She wants something with you. You get to the alley, kind of stops, holds out their hands, expecting you to give stuff to them. You're pretty sure they're asking for your weapons.
But I don't know if it's a tooth fairy or not. You haven't earned this copper wire.
They're asking for our weapons, but my weapon is specifically concealable, so yeah, that's not happening.
I go ahead and hand over the blaster pistol, but
Okay.
I'm sure I have
Giving
like
them anything?
2 or 3 small knives on me I can hand over, just so I can keep my big one.
Yeah.
Tada's going to shake the person's hand, implying that they are a weapon.
Love it.
While you're there, there's going to be a pat down. Is there anything you think anyone would notice? Anything on any of your bodies that would be suspicious?
Not that I can think of.
I do have that bolo gun, but I'd have that tucked like in a boot. You know, assuming they didn't pat me down, they probably wouldn't find it.
Right. Well, this is they do give a bit of a pat down. They don't seem to be overly concerned, as if this is a fairly quick job. Almost like they're not really concerned that you guys are any threats. But
Why should they? They own this place.
and once you're okayed, they kind of motion you to a door and kind of just stand back and let you go in if you're gonna go.
I'm glad that a toolkit is not offensive paraphernalia.
I'm gonna lean over to Soon. Hey, Soon, if we absolutely need it, do you have the ability to hack the boardroom from here and fly it to us for a quick escape?
I'm assuming he'd figure out how to do that a long time ago.
You'd be causing a really big scene if you had your ship fly into this area. Not saying it's impossible, but it's like, you don't bring a Huey into, a residential zone type of thing, or downtown, into a city. You could do it, but it would be a pretty big eye opener.
Well, I mean, if we were able to get a hold of Kai and escape from here, I assume Theo is rich and big enough to cover that kind of thing and to as to why it happened.
Yep.
This would be to grab his son and get the heck out of Dodge.
Yep. Just making sure that you kind of knew the ramification of what that would be. Are you going through the door or no?
Oh, Lois is gonna walk in like he freaking owns the place.
Okay.
Can Tata read the room as he did before? The whole, the danger thing.
Sure, you can kind of just keep that sensors ready to go. So you are all going into the room, and as you enter,
Yes.
it's a dark type of room. There's some smoke in the air. It's obviously probably some sort of narcotic of sorts. Just low level. There's some thrumming music in the background, and kind of sitting down on a couch, drinking something. Yeah, you see who people call her Aquilo, and her name is Ierna Aquilo. She's sitting there and sees you walking in. She's just staring in your direction.
I'll just hang back and be the big burly guy. I'll let the other ones manage this.
We didn't bring a face character with us. Okay. I guess Lois is the de facto face character because I just keep walking into every situation.
I mean, I could if you like, but I don't want to take over the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I want to make sure that I'm giving everyone else their spotlight time because, if you look at my picture, I've got the spotlight on me.
Aww.
All right, Mark, what was her name again?
Aquilo.
All right, so Lois will kind of walk up and bow, I guess, show a bit of deference and respect because we're in her territory. Aquilo, we are here to escort one of your employees home. But then again, kind of looks around at all the people nearby. I somehow think you already knew that.
Elise says that you want to steal my pet, my Kai, from me. You're too late. Someone already has.
We're not here to steal anybody. We just need to return him home to his parents.
You cannot take from me what is not yours to take.
But you just said you don't have.
No, I do not have him any longer because that bitch Moneta took him from me. And I want my pet back. And you are all going to get him for me, right?
We are going to get him from that bitch Minetta. Yes, absolutely.
And any talk or discussion about bringing him anywhere other than right back to my side is talk that will get you killed. Because no one takes from me. And while she believes that she has the strength to do so, she is certainly mistaken. But a bunch of just people that just come into my city and try to take away my pets? No. That is not how it's played.
We did not understand the situation as it was when we were sent to bring him home, and for that, we do apologize for barging into things we know not of. But if we were to liberate him from Minetta, and we did so under your request, that would in turn mean that you had the power to keep what is yours, and the only thing that we would ask for in return is the ability to bring him home to his folks for whatever they need, and then when he's ready, he can come back.
Pets don't get to decide what they can do. No. My little Kai, he belongs right here on the couch beside me. rubbing my feet when I tell him to, making me a goddamn sandwich when I tell him to. That's where he belongs. He's not going back to his family. He's happy with me. I mean, who wouldn't be? Except Minetta is going to pay for this. And you are going to find a way to bring him back to me.
You do realize Kai's a person, right? Not a rabbit.
I put my hand on his shoulder. I don't think she cares.
Lois kind of nods his head in affirmation. Touche.
So, scoot along now. Go track him down. If you want to kill Minetta while you're at it, that's fine. But you're going to bring him back to me. Because if you don't, well, they will eventually find you. It might take them a while and several trips in different parts of the city, but they will eventually find you.
Well, it sounds like you know more about Minetta than we do. It would be nice to, know something. If you have any big booms to lend in pursuing Minetta, stuff.
She's trying to avoid this being publicly seen. She right now is a public figure. People respect her and they fear her. And if they find out that this Minetta has taken her little pet, well, people will lose that respect and she'll lose some control. She wants this done on the down low, doesn't she?
Well, you're obviously visitors to this area, so let me tell you about Minetta. Minetta thinks that she's the number 2 big bitch in the area. Yeah, sure, she's knocked off a few smaller people. She is nothing compared to me. This is just a power play. She thinks she has the balls to come in here and take what is mine? No, she will pay for that. She thinks that selling goods and expensive things can match up to what my empire does? No. But Coldwater, they can be a little bit difficult to get around. That's why I can't move her against her directly. She's in the reds. I'm in the, whatever sector she's in. She's in the blue sector, right?
There we go. I have returned. Sorry about that.
No problem. So you can find her. She kind of thinks she runs an empire in the purple sector. You can find them there. If I could move against her, I would. But she's held up there. They've disappeared from the area, almost as if they know that the big score is coming and that I'm going to come down on her hard. Purple sector. Go. Don't waste any more of my time. Go and bring Kai back. I miss him.
So it's in the purple sector, not the red sector or the blue sector.
This is beginning to sound like paranoia. We only belong in the red sector. So I guess they have the doors open for us to just walk on out of here?
Yep.
Or are we getting escorted out?
No, the doors are open, and then you could just leave, and then you'd be back in the alleyway if you wanted.
All right, I'm gonna make sure to take notice of how we got here.
I was gonna say, it seems like it's time to go and figure out what the heck did we get ourselves in. It's a gang war over this kid. Oh my gosh, we're gonna bring the whole city to its knees. Not that I have a problem with that, by the way. It's just, we should have asked for more than just a ship if we were going to destroy a city.
I say we take off, nuke the whole site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
But then we don't get the kid.
I don't have the yield quite right for that level.
Who needs quite right? Just put as much as you can and you're good. Now, let's move it along. We're going to run into the same problem with this Minetta person, but it looks like we have the perfect opportunity to, again, reconvene at the boardroom and grab what we need. Hopefully, we don't get intercepted on the way again.
Hopefully.
So heading back to the boardroom?
Yes.
Okay.
Seems our princess is in another castle.
Nice.
Oh, that was good. That was
pretty
good.
All right, so you head back there, and you're just about to kind of walk into the central area. And it's like, hey, you have a moment for me?
Here it goes again. Is it somebody we know? Somebody we've run into before?
No, it's a big guy, kind of has a metal arm, beard. He's like, yeah, need to talk to you. You're part of the boardroom, right?
And how do you know this?
Yeah, well, you see, I was looking at my documents. Yeah, just doing some random inspections in the area. And then I'd heard that you had a meeting with, well, someone we have an interest in. So, Aquila, we've been watching her for a while. We're worried she's going to be making some moves. So, what did she talk to you about?
Well, first off, who are you?
Yeah, I'm Clark, Wynn Clark. I kind of run this area of Coldwater security. There's some things, see, I don't like when things don't add up. And there's some things right now that just aren't adding up. Like Moneta.
Well, then you should learn base 8 math, and then everything will be fine.
You're a funny guy. See,
Okay,
I'm
Moneta. What about
worried
Moneta?
about what's going to be happening. See, Moneta's, the gang's disappeared. They've retreated. They've backed away. It's almost like they're expecting something to happen. You know, Coldwater, we want to make sure that everything's kept on the up and up here. And yeah, things will happen underneath the seams, kind of in the shadows, and we're okay with that. But I don't want a gang war being started here. So again, I ask, what was it that you were talking to Aquino about?
Well, before we go any further, can we see some credentials?
Yeah, it kind of holds up. It's a card, it's a hollow card, and this guy is the head of in this area, in this district, Coldwater Security. Wynn Clark, he's a regional commander. Got kind of like a detective, given a high level status.
Well, we're here on not so public business, but not nefarious, I assure you. We're what we are trying to do is for good reasons and for legitimate reasons.
Doesn't she just want a sandwich?
But apparently, what we are trying to do is going to step on the toes of both these gangs who already seem to be at each other's throats. We want something that they are fighting over.
Drugs?
And that's pretty much all. No, it's again, it's supposed to be hush hush. We can't tell you what it's about. Classified, not necessarily illegal.
Military?
Oh, not illegal at all. What they're doing is illegal. We're just trying to...
I will tell you somebody's life will likely be saved, and some bad people's lives will probably not.
So you're not working for Aquilo. You're not. You just kind of stumbled into a situation, is what you're telling me.
That bitch can drop dead, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, it'd be so nice if she did that. Wait, what?
Wouldn't it though? Are we like bad people for wanting bad people dead? Really? I mean, is it
I don't
so
think
wrong?
that makes us bad. That just makes us people.
I don't know. She probably has some kind of regulation system preventing just. That wasn't what you were talking about, was it?
So, how can we help each other here? I want to keep the peace, but I wouldn't mind bringing in Moneta either, if it could be arranged. I mean, I'd love to bring in Aquilo. That's probably a little bit above my pay grade right now. But Moneta, that might not be so bad. What? And you're obviously, I appreciate whoever you're working for. You're not going to be telling me what exactly job you're doing. It sounds like you're ensuring me it's not weapons, not drugs, nothing dangerous, but you say some people might die. You can understand why I have some concerns here, but you may be able to help me. See, I have access to this phone, and I don't know who owns it. But what I do know is that it was dropped by someone who's part of the Minetta gang. And I'm thinking
Yeah, I see it.
that this phone, this could be somewhat important. And he hands it over to you. Like,
June is going to immediately connect to it.
Okay. Yeah, make
Link start.
roll some dice. I mean, I know your numbers are quite high, but we'll see
Roll
what you
some
do.
dice, DC. It doesn't matter.
Just make an arbitrary
you might
dice
not
sound with your
succeed with
mouth.
an 18.
Ah. Hmm.
All right.
Oh,
Success. Yeah, so you hack in, and yeah, this is very clearly what was Kai's phone, but this isn't
Nice.
Kai's phone from pre-cathedral. This is something he would have been given here because there's these messages going back and forth between him and what he calls Master, and it's like, Pet, come make me a sandwich. Pet, come rub my feet. Pet, where are you? Waiting for you. And like it's kind of like this text messages going back and forth. It's not
So there's no
difficult.
secrecy here anymore. This guy knows why we're here.
It's not difficult to determine that this would have been Aquilo, but there's also a different text thing that because you rolled well was deleted, and you managed to reclaim it. And this is a text chain with you don't know who the destination is. There's no kind of identifying like name. It's not in the contact book, but it says. Hey, found your number. I have some goods I'm looking to sell. I know that you're the best that fences these items. I need some money fast. Can we meet and I can show you the goods? This stuff is legit, high end. You'll make a lot of cash from it. Let's talk and meet. And then there's a text message back. It says, you're playing a dangerous game, but I'm open to meeting, and gives a coordinates area. Now, this was sent a few days ago at roughly the same time that Aquilo had mentioned that Kai had gone missing. So that the timelines of this arrangement that he was trying to set up with someone, didn't say who, seems to kind of match up.
and
the
cross-referencing.
sorry, the Win says, it looks like you're finding some stuff in it. See, my people could not break into that. It's heavily encrypted. But I could tell by your look. You have that look of someone that can get into things. So you found something. You're gonna tell me what it is, right?
I don't really have the map memorized of the city, but if I were to say coordinates of, I'll list them off.
Yeah.
Would that be blue, purple, red, yellow, or orange?
That is purple. That's pretty close to where we think Yeah, where we think Minetta runs out of. That's pretty well it.
What would it take for you to cause a distraction right there?
Wouldn't be difficult. What do you have in mind?
Well, if you cause the distraction, you're probably the one getting the big booms, which you'll owe me for, by the way. But we will be able to help the person that shouldn't be there be gone.
So how long ago was this message chain?
A couple days ago, they can't have gone far, though, right?
A couple days ago was when we noticed the activity of Minetta was greatly reduced. Almost like they retreated. So that lines up.
Okay, well, what do you know of the layout of this place? What are the most likely spots you could have retreated to?
Well, we know where Minetta's main place is. It's just, you know, we don't have a lot of manpower sitting around. We're security. We're not military. We'd lose a lot of people sending them in.
Do you have a layout?
Yeah, we have something.
Okay. Why don't you meet us on our ship, the boardroom? We'll have a look at those layouts and come up with a battle plan using your intel and our tactics. I think we might be able to come up with something.
You see, I can't be working with people who aren't part of Coldwater Security. So, you've told me where there's something there. We can go and kind of stake it out and kind of take a look. And if you happen to show up and cause a bit of a commotion, well, we'll have our people there.
Oh, so you can use us, but we can't use you?
Well, that's the nature of Coldwater. We keep a pretty tight ship. I mean, we can't involve civilians, of course, in what we do. I mean, they make us look bad.
Yet you are.
We may lose the contract. Well, you were very valuable with some information. But we really can't we can't work with you in that way. I mean, we want to make sure you're safe, right? But we got to protect ourselves, too.
Self-interest is all that matters.
I'm sorry I keep disconnecting. I think it's every time I try to say something longer than 4 seconds.
Mm.
Well, as long as we can work toward a mutually beneficial outcome, really all that matters.
Okay, so if I can get him to join us, I may have missed if he can or not. But if I can get him to join us to at least go over the layouts, I can use my military skills to form perhaps a tactic or some sort of battle plan.
Well, what I'll do is I'll send you the information on what we know about the situation. I'll send that to you. And
Sounds good.
I'll give you that information. Yeah, and then maybe you can find some good thing from it, and we can come to some sort of arrangement. And he just kind of flicks something on a handheld that he has, and you get some data on yours. It pops up, and like an airdrop, it's like, hey, there's important information. Do you want to accept it? Yes or no? So you can accept the data that he sends, which is a really kind of brief rundown of the district that he has.
Useful information.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and outside a game. I'm gonna go ahead and kill my OBS and just go with my regular camera and see if maybe that helps fixes the issue. I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay. And then we can adjust. We'll just keep going, and he'll join us back up.
Indeed.
I would like to look over the the schematics that was sent, see if I can figure out a good way in and out.
Yeah, you. So looking at, it's basically it's like a warehouse type, a fortified warehouse, and you can detect there's a couple of ins and outs where you think that, yeah, I mean, someone with your skills in particular could get in and out there. But this is a fortress for a minor, up and coming mob family kind of thing.
Does it
Yeah.
list any
Water
sensors?
security. I would say if the security detail could cause a distraction, might be able to just sneak in, grab the kid, and sneak out.
Well, as he had mentioned that he's not there to kind of work with you, so to speak, but they are there. They're going to be doing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They're doing security, so they're going to be watching the area. They're not looking at instigating anything.
But if somebody's instigated, they will step in.
That's what it sounds like. That's what he implied.
Sounds like we gotta not instigate things.
If we instigate things, then they'll show up, make things worse, giving us the cover we need to get the heck out of there.
Subtle is what we're supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't think subtle's gonna work when you're going up against a mob boss in their own home.
Well, if I can get access to their system, I can feed it the right kind of information.
So, what system are you kind of looking at?
Well, I am hoping that they have some kind of house computerized smart home defense type
okay.
system.
Right.
Hack into the light system.
And you may be able to with that. What you have right now is you just have Kai's phone, but that's it.
But the document we were given doesn't say if they do or don't have that kind of thing.
No, it's like the detective would say, here's the stuff we've noticed about where the mob boss probably is. It's not like high end type of stuff. These people are, they're a security contracting company. They wouldn't put money into doing this type of stuff.
Okay, so looking at the layout, if we're still at the boardroom looking at the stuff.
Yep. Yeah. No one's
Okay,
moved.
looking at the layout, I'm gonna see if I can find the most likely locations, probably plural, of where Kai might be held. All the entrances, exits of the facility, not maybe the building, but the entire facility. So that we can find her, I guess, the best way to infiltrate, and that's probably going to be with your assistance, to infiltrate the area, scout it out, and get an extraction going with the least amount of guard encounters as possible. Of course.
Yeah, you would. There's some areas that you think would work. The rafter type area is probably a little bit less secure than the lower level doorway type stuff. Until you're there, you wouldn't get a really good feel for if people are out, are people patrolling, what's happening with it. But from what you get,
Right.
There's a bunch of. Looks like there's several entrances, not a lot, but they would be secure doored, not military grade. You can't breach it unless you have a tank. But there's risks with trying to break into a building, which is probably why security companies aren't doing it themselves.
Okay. That being the case, I'm going to go ahead and head on over to my little room, my area. Grab a big old duffel bag that says, has some fake name, Apex Construction Company or something like that. Start throwing in weapons and breach charges and grenades and everything that I can.
Yeah, so you're getting some heavy
Probably
weapons
more
going.
than I need.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
Tata is going to See if he can change their own clothes to be less conspicuous or something. If this is going to be some kind of covert or mission in which they don't, need to be recognized or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You can go into kind of something a little less identifiable. Sure.
Yes.
Lois is gonna get guns. Lots of guns. By lots, I mean 2.
Yeah. Yeah, the bigger guns, the heavier guns, that's definitely in Mag's category. But you would have, obviously the guns that you have, which are more based on, like getting into places. So they are smaller, they're more easily concealed, but they're still very effective.
Yeah, just some, like a pair of blaster pistols or something.
Okay. And what are you doing soon?
So soon, knowing that offense is half the battle, is going to double check our usable protection for the group. Do we have still, say, sets of ceramics for people, or what's that looking like?
So you're talking about like armor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be just like you can't carry around big guns because it'll attract attention. Walking around in armor would also attract attention. Like that's something that security could do, but the average person, it would definitely be something going, hey, what's going on? So a few small weapons, maybe you could have a leather jacket that might have some plates in it, type of stuff. But anything heavier than that, and you're just asking to be stopped by someone.
Okay. Well, if we have even just a light shield belt, can I convince the system that we've already checked these light shield belts in and have been approved for use?
Sure, so just like some sort of like a low level force shield.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you only have 2. They're fairly expensive to do, and you can obviously been maintaining them. But yeah, I'll say you can get 2 of them into the system. That's not a problem.
Alrighty. Soon after checking those, we'll approach our group and say, okay, I know we've only got 2 of these. The system, they've been checked in, it's all taken care of. But we know that Mag, he needs one. That leaves one for the 3 of us.
I prefer to rely on not being seen and not being able to be hit. So if someone else would prefer to utilize the protection granted by the force field, I will not say no.
Rather than one going to me, I mean, I prefer not being hit either. But I've taken a bullet or 2. It's no big deal. We should probably save one for Kai, and then one of you guys can take mine.
I can make my own.
I was just about to ask that, Tada. You're pretty good at the whole avoiding being shot thing.
Oh.
Up until now, let's hope.
Yeah, you mean
all right, soon.
Protective force shields are not that difficult when you need it up there. Yeah, that's something you've done in the past.
Mm-hmm. Well then, soon you take one, I'll take the other, and if we actually happen to somehow magically pull this off without our captain, I'll hand mine to Kai, so that he's not shot too much on the way out.
All right. So you gotta get geared up and get your force shield, and then you're heading out to the area in purple.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you
soon will also grab their special holster pistol and attach that to the belt.
Okay.
Now, what can we assume that I've grabbed? I just threw in a bunch of weapons, breach charges, all that other stuff. As
Yeah.
far as the
I mean,
game goes, I
in
need to look
general,
on the list here and see what I have.
yeah, it doesn't. I mean, the specifics of what they're called is not as important. Like the blaster rifle from BESM, so you're gonna like kind of a level 7 weapon. You would have that as kind of your main type of heavy. You can have smaller ones. There's no problem with that. And then in terms of like grenade, let's just assume you have like some grenades. And just kind of work on that level. And if something needs to get fired, then you're looking at the blaster rifle being a level 7 weapon, and then the grenades are going to be they're like level, what's that? Yeah,
I see the
level
fragmentation
6 for like a 6, 8 for around that area as well. So let's just make it easy and just say your weapons are level 7 weapons.
Got it.
Other people, your weapons, if you think it's lighter, that's fine, but you could have a 3. And if you want to go lighter, you can go something lighter, but 3s are kind of what you guys would have. So you head out to the Purple District, and certainly, Lois, you would notice as you're approaching, you can kind of pick up the telltale signs of security in the area. That are this would be from Coldwater. It certainly wouldn't be difficult to determine that they're not the best at hiding. But what you do notice is when you get close to the building, is you see that there are 2 things patrolling the outside of this building. These are robotic cyber panthers.
Robotic cyber panthers.
Yeah. And
yeah.
And they are just kind of walking around. It looks like they're kind of like off-the-shelf security drone type things. Maybe some AI, maybe being remote controlled. And they are just walking around in where the doors are, keeping... It's like, obviously, they're protecting something in there. You just don't buy these because they look really expensive. You wouldn't have these unless you had a bit of money to invest. Tata, you
I want to slice
because
it in half.
you've obviously worked with a lot of your powers and you can fly. You do, yes, there's the low level doors, but you do also notice that there are some upper areas closer to the roof, like the rafter type areas, where there could be some entrances up there as well.
All right. Tata is going to convey this information that they're going up, and then try to use their dynamic powers to make themselves undetectable, if at all possible, like visually.
Yep.
And then
The
float
ultimate
upwards.
form of avoidance.
So you're just looking at, you're kind of camouflaging yourself, and again, everyone in the group has seen that they've done this in the past. So you kind of the light shimmers nearby you, and you kind of look like you're the background of a building. It's not the full on invisibility from the containment that Lois has from his awesome infiltration abilities, but it's still effective camouflage. And you kind of start levitating up, and you're doing that. What are other people doing?
Soon, would you happen to know what kind of sensors those Cyber Panthers have? What sort of visions, senses?
A great question. Base model or modded?
You can probably find out, based on what you see here, if you want to kind of get their visuals, feed it into your computer system, and look up data.
Soon will try to do this.
Okay. Not overly difficult. It's because these are commercial, and yeah, you kind of get the specs on. They're fast, they're strong, they have claws, and they can rend. They're low level AI rather than direct remote control, but they are kind of feed into a central system. They have cameras that feed back to the computer network that they would be connected to. Yeah, you get all the specs. Lois,
Okay, so
what's Lois doing?
I have this vision in my mind of seeing one of those cyber panthers just start sparking and sputtering all of a sudden, and then Lois materializing on top with his sword in the thing's head, which is just, it's very vivid in my imagination. But I don't know if just slicing up the pets is the right move at this point.
But it's a
if we
nice
did
thing
that, it would
to
have
think
to
about.
be at the same time.
So
But that I want to do as a person, but Lois would probably be more like sneak past them as long as they don't have like infrared or lidar, non-visual means of detection. Because my my active camo is visual only; it doesn't cover any other spectrum.
right, and yeah, you do know soon that they do have IR detection.
Well, I guess I gotta go then.
Good sentries. We should get some. Why don't we have one?
If I don't dismantle it, I'll give one to you as a gift.
So while they're all just kind of waiting, are you just kind of like observing stuff and just waiting to hear back from Tata?
So far,
Tada's going to say while I'm in the air or something, do the comms if possible. They're going to address Soon. Soon's the tech person, right?
Yeah.
Soon's going to ask is there any way you can make them attack each other?
Ooh, hack the
dun,
kitties.
dun, dun.
You know, that would be a wonderful thing if they had wireless uplink. These ones, they seems to be a security measure, a great one. You program them and then you set them loose. Something about the security vulnerabilities of wirelessly controlled security. But if we
You
can
guys
set
can-
that one down, I can try to reprogram it.
You guys can visibly actually see Mag starting to shake in restraint from just pulling out an RPG and blowing the heck out of the door in these Cyber Panthers.
That
Blow
could be fun
things
too.
So Tata, you get to the top, and there is what looks like it's not a window that's like glass, but it's an entrance that's a vent that has metal grates on it. But you can get up really close and kind of peer in, and you can see this is your stereotypical warehouse, I guess, kind of looking down, where this is not an expensive headquarters. The rooms in here are not regular rooms. Again, you think of a warehouse where you'd have your separate rooms and you have walls that go up to your 10, 15 feet, and then there wouldn't be a ceiling because the ceiling is in the giant warehouse that you're in. And so they're segregated off, but looking from the top where you are, because flying isn't a common ability, looking in here, you can see the different rooms and, looking down into them. And you see in here, there's like, oh yeah, there's some people and there's some people, and it looks like there's a decent sized gang in here, probably about 10 people, and there is one person in particular, a woman who's in one of the roomed type area, and she looks like she's talking to a corner because you can't see what's in that corner. But it looks like that might be where there's someone there that you can't see. But the person you can see who's talking, this is the description, and this is the description that fits what you know of Minetta.
All right. Tada's going to say into the comms, I've spotted Minetta.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick test of these Panthers. I'm going to grab a rock or something, throw it distant, see if they both notice, if they both decide they're going to go out and investigate. And if they do, we'll take advantage and sneak through the door. And if they don't, well, we'll know a little more.
Okay. So you kind of throw a rock in the general area, and you get no reaction whatsoever from these Panthers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're programmed a little smarter than that. I was hoping they'd be AI stupid.
Well, The good news, though, is
They might be
since that
NPC stupid.
one of the downsides of not having a continuous wireless communication for me to hack into is if we take him out, it wouldn't show up unless there's something monitoring the location visually.
It's taking him out quietly. That's the problem. Subtlety and quiet is not exactly my thing. The walls of this building, what are they made of? Are they concrete or are they like your warehouse sheet metal?
They would be well, it's like a prefab type that's kind of like a reinforced metal, concrete metal mix, like rebar in it. So fairly secure.
Got it.
You wouldn't just punch through the wall or blast through it with a simple gun.
Okay, well, to heck with it. I'm not even going to check with the other guy. Sorry, this is just my character style. I'm taking out my pistol and just blam, blam. One in the head of each.
How about you blam blam, double tap one of them, and then I can slice the other one in half. Instead, something.
Sure.
Right.
Sounds fine. Let's do that.
Okay,
Double
so
tap
you're
one.
going for
You got the other.
you're trying to take out the Panthers.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to have is if you're basically coordinating this, so you have Lois, you are attacking one with a sword, and
Yes, I'm
Meg,
gonna try to
you're hitting the
sneak
other one
close and
with
slice
a
it.
pistol or your bigger gun.
Actually, I'm going to go with the bigger gun. I'm going to go with the rifle since we're doing one each, and with my military skill, I can probably do a teamwork effort, be able to coordinate with him, knowing when he's about to strike.
Right. Okay.
And then I'll go and do that. I'll do it with the rifle.
And while you two are planning the attack on the two Panthers, Soon and Tara, what are you planning on doing?
Tata wants to, if at all possible, once again, dynamic powers, try to transpose themselves beyond the wall into the inside of the actual place and go from there. An action.
Yeah, you know that's like, it'd be great if you can do that, but you haven't been using the ability long enough to like teleport.
Right. Okay. Well. Tada is unsure what to do except for just observe to see if anyone's noticed the apparent commotion everyone else is doing, to give the heads up that, you might be expecting someone else.
So kind of more, you're looking at more kind of like tactical eyes on the scene as opposed to going into fight.
Right. Tada is going to definitely do that, like if more people start coming out of to see what the hell's wrong with the Panthers, then they might be able to get the drop from above and help out, that kind of thing.
Well, one of the things, although the idea of getting the other side is probably not going to happen. You do you've studied fairly extensively on your telekinesis that you have. So it's not giving you like movements of a lot of things, but you're pretty sure that this grate is secured on the inside, and if you wanted to try to telekinese the security of how it's being secured, as if to say, take out the screws and open it up. You can try that.
I think it'd be a bit of a moot point, seeing as that people are already, taking out the security at the front door.
Yeah, no, certainly. Like keeping the eyes on here is and being the person that relays the information can still be extremely helpful. I just wanted to make sure you understood.
Yes.
That you do have the telekinesis that you think could probably help you in this if you wanted to get in.
Of course, I understand.
Great. All right. So, and Soon, what are you?
And soon, seeing that suddenly things are going to happen and there might be a kitty coming this way, we'll start making the pss, pss, pss sound, and we'll try to grab onto one of these kitties and see if he can find the manual input jack if it gets close enough. If not, soon we'll be looking the fool trying to call a mechanical cat closer.
So you know that while the goal was, I think, for Mag from maybe at a little bit of a distance, but then to have Lois get up close with the sword to do it that way. So the idea of the cats aren't going to be coming near you, but Lois is going to where the cats are.
So if one of the cats decides to go after Mag, I'll be between Mag and the kitty. If both of them go after Lois, well, soon we'll be slowly moving forward, but mainly planning to jump up on a cat if the cat runs this way towards Mag.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to have
Bring it on. I got this.
Meg and Lois. You're both going to be making rolls, attack rolls. So for the people watching, for the attack is fairly straightforward. It's like any other roll. So you're rolling your 2d6. However, because both of you are doing an active surprise, effectively, you're going to get a minor edge to your roll. So it's minor edge to a 2d6 die roll, and you're going to be adding your attack combat value to each of them. Mag, you
I
got
think I did that correctly.
18. And Lois, you both got 18. Wow.
Hey, look at that.
How nice.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see what I can roll in.
Oh man, that minor edge saved my butt.
Oh, yeah?
622.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Wow, that went from a 4 plus 10 to a nice.
All right, well, I got a 13 on my defense. So, not good.
Real quick, Mark.
Yeah.
You said that the Panthers have other non-visual senses.
That they read into the IR spectrum, yes.
Okay, because my invisibility provides.
Yeah, only for sight. I assume that what you were doing is you were moving into a position to put a drop on them.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Given that Megs had tested kind of if they can be distracted, and they didn't seem to be. So you put a drop on them both. So you, in BESM, damage is fixed, and it's your damage multiplier times the weapon level plus your attack combat value. So how much damage do each of you do if, Megs, you're working with a level 7 gun, and you have a level 3 sword?
It's a level 3 sword, yeah.
So I have a 7 times 8 equals 56, plus my ACV of 10 is 66 damage.
66.
Holy crap.
All right.
You built the character.
I did. And what about you, Lois? What are you looking at?
ACV, I'm sorry, level 3 times DM of 7 is 21 plus 10 is 30, which I put in the little chat box there.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I wasn't even looking in the chat boxes. Oh, there it is. Yes, I can see that. All right. Well,
You know, I have it on the to-do list to add damage as an option for the dice pot. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Oh, well, that's all right. I mean, damage, fortunately, is very, very simple to do. All right. So, Megs, when you fire the gun, it is pretty loud, and the cat's head basically kind of gets blown off with that. That was incredibly effective. And because you rolled, or your damage is so high. And in fact, Lois, with enough damage that you did, you were aiming for an area that, because it's, as you can saw with the image of the cat, this isn't a high resistance. There's lots of interior workings that are very easy to spot, and you kind of jam your sword down in one area to cut off several of the through several of the wires that it has, and it doesn't blow its head off the way Meg did, but with that, sparks start flying up around you, and it starts like twitching and jumping, and it's making this horrible type of noise as you are riding on its back, kind of just in the way you envisioned it. However, it is
That's a wish.
it is very, very noisy. And Tada, you see people. It's a cat. It jumps on soon. No, that was a real cat. Tada, you see that
Oh my gosh.
there's a bunch of people inside the building rushing towards the door that the cats were near whenever they got attacked, except that one woman who is in a room, she grabs a weapon in her hand. It looks like a pistol of some sort, but it's a pretty impressive one, and does not run out where the other more thuggy type people are.
All right. Tada's going to relay this information. Just say that there's more incoming,
Okay.
and try to use their telekinesis to, as you suggested before, try to do the screws, since subtlety is no longer an option. Might as well trigger every security if there is.
And it's very
Nice.
loud outside as well. So, all right. So for your control, I'm going to have you use a soul stat for your psionics. So you're making a
All right.
soul roll, and just straight up soul check, and make that against make it against a 12. It's not that difficult. No, sorry, 15 is what I meant to say. Yes, it's 15. Okay, so you got a 12.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
good. It was the reason why I made it the 15 was the speed on timing it with all the noise that was happening. So
Right.
it was successful to remove it, but the timing didn't work with what was happening on the outside, and so it's a little bit noisy up there. But the grate falls, and you can catch it if you don't want it to kind of like fall all the way. It's kind of up to you. If you
Yeah, I'd like to catch it if I can.
Okay,
Yes.
So you can easily stop it. You just use your telekinesis to stop it. But the screws do fall down, tinkle. There's a little bit of noise, but honestly, no one seems to really be paying attention, except one person who looks up in your direction, and this is the one that you've been looking at. So this is Parvati Manetta. She kind of sees you, and she's
Am I still partially camouflaged?
yeah. Well, I mean, looks up in that area and sees the thing come off. Has a gun, but isn't firing or anything. Just looking up in your general area, and seems concerned. And suddenly she grabs someone who was in an area that you couldn't see because kind of hidden by the wall from the angle that you had. And yeah, you can see she's holding a gun to Kai's head.
Quite the quandary.
So what is everyone's kind of goals right now? So the doors are still closed. There's one sparking, fritzing, not really doing very well monster cat, and then the other cat is, well, laying down.
Do I have smoke grenades?
Yep.
Okay. Assuming I'm able to still communicate with I'm sorry, Tada.
Yeah, you're
Tada,
on
yes.
comms.
Damn, I got it. All right. I'm going to toss a frag grenade to blow the door open, and then start just chucking in smoke grenades, and tell Tada that hopefully she's able to sense him through the smoke. Sense Kai and take Kai through the smoke. I don't know that he's got a gun held to his head, but maybe with her psychic ability, she'll be able to sense him.
Okay, so you're blowing the doors off, ideally, and then having smoke grenades. Lois, what is your goal?
As soon as the doors get blown off, I'm gonna go invisible, run through, see if I can find the kid, grab him, and go.
Okay. And soon?
Soon, kind of giving up on the dream of having Robo Kitty number 1.
Yeah, it never really got anywhere near you.
I'll buy you another one, kid.
Wishing that they knew more about the technology inside, will pull out their gearhead special pistol and provide slowly advancing covering fire if anyone's coming out either through the smoke or isn't Lois who's going in.
Right.
And
All right.
we'll try to end up against the wall eventually, time permitting.
Okay. And Tada, while you're up there, the grate is kind of there, the gate's open, you're being watched, but you don't really know if anyone's if Minetta sees you or not.
Yeah. Tada is going to try to do a risky thing and try to, if at all possible, telekinetically grab the gun and try to disarm Minetta.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So there's a distance on that one, but that is an attack action. It's within your range, especially if you kind of put a little bit of your dynamic powers on it to push the range a little bit, because for protection, you're trying to protect Kai, and that gets your senses up. So
Correct.
Okay, so with this, the grenades go off. Boom, doors are blown open. People are blown backwards. Smoke grenades are there. Lois, you're running in. You are the only one that actually needs to make an attack roll, Tada, because everyone else is doing general attacks. Where you're making something specific. So you are going to be.
Right.
This is a regular attack roll that you're making.
Right.
But because you don't have a weapon, you're using something intrinsic to you. You're going to be making, and because it's not visible, so you have an advantage from that. So you're going to be making it with a major edge to the roll. So this would be with your attack combat value. You're going to be adding it on to a major edge roll.
I honestly haven't forgotten how to do this.
All right, so type in slash, and then as soon as that, then click on roll.
Yes.
And then click on attribute or stat, and then just enter your number, which is a 5 for your attack combat value.
Yes.
And then tab, and then you'll have an option that will show up on edges and obstacles.
Right.
Click on
okay,
that.
so minor or major edge?
Yeah, major edge. And then when you're done everything, I find these things to click back in the dialog box and then just hit return. Oh, there you go. Okay. So 13. Okay.
Yeah, not that great.
Oh, wow! I friggin' rocked on my apparently my defense. I got a 6, 6, and a 6. So you kind of reach down to kind of push the gun out of the way, and it's almost like she feels the resistance goes and spins around with him and dives to the side, still holding onto the gun and holding it onto Kai still. She was
Almost
very resistant of what you were doing.
Right.
But is now away from. She's more exposed because the where she moved was closer to the exit of the room that she's in. So when Lois, you run in, and there are a bunch of people who would have been rushing out of the building. Instead, they got blown back with the doors. And so a bunch of gigantic thugs picking themselves up off the ground, looking in your direction because you were where they came in from the door, but they do not see you because you are invisible. And they bring up their guns, and they're now firing out of the door through the smoke at whatever they think attack them. They don't know what it is. When you enter the building, your goal is to do what? To run over where Kai was, you were saying?
Yes, I want to find Kai ASAP, nab him, grab him, and get the heck out of there.
Okay. So there is, you know, because Tada was the person that kind of told you that he is with Mineta. So is your goal to engage with Mineta, or just kind of pull on Kai and hope you can just pull him away?
I would kind of like to rush into Mineta, bowl her, and then grab Kai and say, "Your father sent me. I'm taking you home. Be quiet." And then kind of pull him toward the door. I don't think my personal cloak will extend to him.
No, it's not a Harry Potter cloak. Okay, so you're running up to where he is. The Soon and Mag, you guys are firing, and you hear coming from behind you, it's like, well, that's really interesting. That was a lot more distraction than I thought you were going to provide.
Oh no!
And it is Win is there. He said he'd be in the area. It's like, you're not really supposed to be bringing these types of weapons in the area, and other people are firing, and you realize the security guards are now firing in the area. Guns fires out, guns are firing in. Security has stepped up. It's like, let me tell you something. So I bugged you, and so I know that you were talking about bringing a ship in. And normally I wouldn't recommend doing that. However, in this particular instance, I think I know what you're trying to do. We can hold down the suppression. We can mop up the business here before we do not want Aquilo showing up. We can take care of this. Why don't you just leave? And take him and leave. That would be best.
You mean take Kai with us and go?
Yeah.
Get out of here? Get out of Dodge?
Yeah, you really should be doing that.
We're in.
Let's skedaddle.
So you're bringing the ship in, all right? Do it. Get to it.
I can cover it up. I can make the arrangements, but I will say, I'll be sending you a bill later because I know you're going to get paid a fair amount of money from this, and I need to have a little bit of money to pay off this stuff. So I'll send a bill your way. You're good for it, right?
We'll talk.
I'll send you a bill.
All right, boys.
We'll talk numbers later.
Light them up. Yeah, we can work out the details later. And the security kind of comes down. Everyone's fighting. You guys are kind of told to back out of the fight. You've done your incredible damage. The kiddies are getting blown to shit as in all the firefighting. And up top, so Lois, you're running in. Tada, you see. No, you don't see Lois. Of course, you knew what was happening, but you don't see him. But you know that he's going to be running in.
Probably aware of Lois coming in.
Yeah.
It's what Lois does.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, I'm just trying to lay the land for what's happening on the inside.
All right. Mineta is still touching Kai, right?
Yeah. Still has him.
All right. Is it possible? Well, I'd like to try to apply a force field to Kai that is offensive.
Okay.
If at all possible.
Yeah. An offensive force field. Yeah, you can to give her a shock type of thing.
Yeah, make her let go of Kai.
Yeah.
Kai. Or Kai. Yeah, sorry, he's using the wrong word.
Yeah, you could to let him go. Yeah, you can do that at a distance. That would be a controlled thing. So I'll have you roll again. I don't do a lot of these rolls, but it's kind of fun to roll dice once in a while for some playtesting here. So I'll make you. This will just be a straight up soul stat check, and it's not opposed. So you're just looking at a straight up 12.
All right, let's hope I get a 12 or more. Ah, damn it.
10. Okay. So you shove up the force field because you worked on protecting him, but unfortunately the activation, the shocking thing didn't activate. But the force field that kind of shoves up pushes her back a little bit, and that's when Lois, when you're in, you see a blue shimmering, quick force field that comes up, an energy shield that you recognize as, something that Tata has done because you've seen that pattern before. And you see Mineta kind of shoved back a little bit away from Kai. What do you do? Are you there, Lois?
Hello?
Sorry, I was muted. Oops, my bad.
All right, I'm like, suspense. So so you heard me obviously. So what are you doing?
Oh God. I'm gonna continue with my plan and get close to Kai and say, your father sent us. Come with me if you want to live.
All right, you pull a Terminator on him. So you get up close and you say that, and you say, just take me out of here.
I think at this point I would drop my cloak just so Kai can see me.
Yeah.
And then reach out a hand, because if he touches me, it's not activate the offensive force field, I hope.
Well, yeah, there is no offensive force. I mean, the offensiveness isn't there. There is a force field around him, but Tata would have made it that, knowing that you were going to be doing something. I presume, Tata, that you're not going to be trying to keep him away from it as well.
No, not at all. Tata is going to allow him to pass through if that's what's necessary, yes.
Now, given the amount
grab him by the hand and kind of lead him out.
So there's an incredible amount of firefighting going on at the door area. But you are pretty confident you can probably jump up with him to where Tata is. I mean, you are extremely skilled at high-level jumping. So you can jump 18 meters with him. So you could just kind of pick him up and do a super jump to the rafters.
Heck yeah.
Yeah?
That's what I'm going to do.
So
pick him up.
Yeah.
So I apologize for the damsel in distress, princess, and then just jump up and do a backflip off of the wall and land in the rafters right next to Tata. And look around like, I know you're here somewhere. How do I get out of here?
Well, there is a kind of a big
this is where we suspend reality and make it anime.
Yeah. And soon you were calling in the ship, is that correct?
Soon is also going to remark to Win, you will find the registration was completed on all of these, except maybe one or two. Thank you, goodbye! Meanwhile, typing away, executing the programs that would call the ship to current location, send the paperwork of we're leaving to the dispatch, hope that no one is still on board from the cleaning crew, and all the while smiling back at Win.
Okay. And the ship is going to be coming in, and you there's an area where you're confident that you can get the ship in. And Meg, you see as you're there is another crew of people coming in, riding bikes, like motorbikes, and they are very clearly, you recognize one of them. who kind of brought you over to see Aquilo, and there's another gang showing up with guns ablazing, firing at Coldwater and firing at Monetta's gang. So this is turning into a big fighting match. Are you getting involved at all, or are you just trying to get to the ship?
I'm going to grab Coldwater by the collar, let him know what's going on, and see what he wants. He's done a huge favor for us.
Oh.
These guys can leave, but I'll stick around if he needs it.
Thanks for this. Thanks for the tip. We didn't see them coming. This is a good opportunity for me and my guys to kind of let them take care of each other, and we'll see what's left standing after that. So let me call my guys back.
You want to ride out? You want to ride out?
No, we have our own stuff, but thank you anyway. You just leave my area. We'll talk later. I have your ship number, and yeah, you take care of yourself.
Okay, in complete disregard of what he just said, I'm going to take a single shot at Aquilo.
Oh, so Aquilo isn't here. It's the thug type people that are showing up. Sorry, you're muted.
Yeah, okay, principal then. The guy that guided us. I'm going to take a single shot before I go.
Okay, sure. Why don't you go ahead and make a? I'll give you a called shot on that one. So, because unless you just want to do just a general shot.
No, I'm going to go called shot.
Okay,
I'm good at this.
Using the big gun.
Oh yes.
Okay, so this will be a minor obstacle to the roll, because it's a big one. And I'm just going to make this a straight DC 15 because he's not fighting back. Oh, 17. Yeah, his head kind of explodes as a level 7 weapon brings down, 60 points of damage onto his skull, which is doubled because of a called shot to vitals. And at 120, yeah, his head goes boom.
I'm satisfied. Maybe this will act as a little bit of a deterrent and help Coldwater get out of here. I'm getting on the ship and getting out.
So brutal. And the ship arrives, and you all, I presume the people on the rafters, you guys are heading out to the ship as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, and Tada, it would probably be easier if you help them all, if you can, because you have flight, but if you help them fly as well, basically like a levitation at this point. It's not like Superman flight, but enough to get down easily, because Kai probably doesn't have any other way to do this.
Like the dynamic powers enhanced telekinesis thing?
That was well, actually using it to enhance your flight so you can kind of like bring them along with you. And then you all get back to the ship and quickly take off. Kai looks at you and just like stunned, and it's like, "Where are you taking me, dudes?"
I look him dead in the eye and say, "I bet you didn't see this coming." And I pat him on the shoulder. "We're taking you home, kid."
Oh, no. Yeah, don't do that. Dude, you have no clue how difficult it is to be the son and the heir to a trillionaire. It's like really, really hard. And I had to leave. I don't want to go back to my dad, but I can't stay with those two crazy women either. Can you let me off somewhere? Can I let me off in another city somewhere?
So here's the thing, kid. We're going to let you off with your folks. That's how it is. If you don't like it, then we'll knock you out until you get there.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you what. Why don't I make you a nice meal and we'll chat about it at the table. Maybe mend some fences between you and your dad.
They don't understand me at all. I don't want to go back, but I also don't want to be with those crazy women either. So, dude, I'm on your ship. I guess I'll just go with you, and I'll run away later.
I mean,
hey, once we get paid,
sandwich and we'll talk about it later.
Fair enough.
Okay, there is one
And
thing.
just kind of just elbows him in the ribs a little bit to let him. He's just
What was that, Soon?
Been waiting to do this all day. You may not have 8 arms, but soon will have 9.
Alrighty, you got him cuffed.
Soon to the engine room, light her up.
We'll then hand him the key. But it's like, do you have any ideas for how that would work better if you did have 8 arms, or how you might get to 8 arms?
And so begins your route to prosperity in paying off your mortgage on your boardroom and your reputation, which is going to be growing on how badass and destructive you guys all are. So thank you.
And there was much rejoicing. Yay!
Is there any bad news in the epilogue?
No, nothing. You take the spoiled rich kid back to his father, and you get paid, and then you go ahead and you deliver the rest of the goods, and it would just go from there. So no, nothing bad. It's would have been bad if Kai died in a firefight, but that was not clearly going to happen here. So no, that's wrapped it up fine. Went a little bit late. Thank you for the patience on staying that little bit of extra time. Couple tech issues came up, but overall, I think it streamed pretty well as our first time doing it, and so thank you all, not only just for participating today, but for everything that you all do for the BESM community. I really appreciate it. I know the BESM fans appreciate it as well. If there's anything you need in the future, or you want to do something, let me know. I'm on Discord and Facebook and all that other stuff. You can communicate whenever. But thank you very much for participating in this. So we'll end it there.
Thanks for hosting it.
No, you're very welcome. Everyone have a
yes.
Really
thank you very much.
You're welcome, Tata. Have a good night.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.